know what I think I'm going to do?
Go away now.
I think I'm going to have Tony help me out with vMix, and we're going to, because I'm going to give this computer to John over there, and I'll have my computer do our stream for us, and we'll use vMix so we can do to Facebook and YouTube.
Is that right?
Same time.
Will we still be able to go, don't you?
Yeah, well,
forget
that's fine.
About me.
That's fine.
Dun, dun,
That's totally fine.
Dun, 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 baby.
Oh, let me get my shit out of your way.
Armand, Kachigi.
One of your reviews.
What's that?
Somebody apparently finds your voice very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just too many cigarettes.
What are we talking about? Oh,
His voice.
somebody
wow,
trying
what
to
a
get into the
turn on.
group. Yeah.
What a turn on.
Jeez, kind of gets me hard.
Armand.
Jeez, talk to me, baby.
How you doing today, man?
Yeah, right.
How you doing
I don't know. I
today?
got this gal I've been texting back and forth. I
We
met
are-
on Plenty of Fish. But
I should tell you we are live.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was
I'll tell you later.
Just making sure you know that we are live.
Get a little nasty.
Hey, did you see that person bitching about how you don't, whenever you don't talk into the microphone?
Who, me?
I forget, it was an
Oh,
email.
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Somebody did mention
Yeah,
that.
that person don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I think.
Well, I think he admonishes you about that, doesn't he? That
Yeah,
you
he
might
does.
have to-
But I think
He-
he doesn't know what the
He
fuck
takes
he's
his
saying.
headphones off,
Yeah.
and he can't hear himself.
Well, I don't. The headphones is like make it more. It's less personal, you know. I feel like
I don't
do my
give a
better-
fuck. We're
I
doing
do
a
my better
podcast, which is
thinking.
professional.
Yeah.
I know, but
It's
I
not
do
personal.
my better thinking like this.
It's just business.
Yeah,
Strictly business.
And
You're pissing
and
people off at this
conversation.
point. And if we're going to be honest,
Speaking of pissing
people
off.
have been talking, and your looks have become a problem.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah,
I
people.
didn't see
Shit,
that.
okay,
Let's
well.
discuss that.
Oh,
Do we have
fuck.
any emails
All right.
specifying that?
Oh, we've got.
You were there. You know
So
what I'm
we
talking
haven't-
about.
Yeah, we did get a couple.
We haven't done this in a while and read our bad shit.
Oh, great.
But we used to do
bad
make it.
stuff's much
Oh,
better.
so we got a couple really good bad ones
it's not
today. We're
about
gonna
me.
read when the store.
Yeah, I don't know why we stopped doing that. We never stopped
Yeah,
getting
that's
them.
more fun.
Yeah, we never stopped getting.
I mean, yeah.
There's no.
This coddling and adulation. Nobody wants to hear that.
I know a few people do. Wow,
Well,
man.
that one gal really likes him.
Is there nobody in the chat?
Did you read that?
Yes, Armand.
Yeah, I
read
bet you
that.
did.
I did.
Yeah, look at Sly. I don't like that look. Smugness, smarmy.
Schmarmy bastard.
Armand.
I've always thought that.
Yeah, see, that's the voice I know.
Yeah.
Acting cough,
Mm-hmm. I smoke
laryngeal
cigarettes,
dystrophy.
Armand.
All right, I guess I should.
Nobody's in the room yet? What
Oh
is
yeah,
this?
there's nobody talking.
Where's Lar?
I don't know where
There's
Rennie
no first
is.
today.
There's no first. I'm feeling
God.
naked.
Oh,
3
I'm
minutes on.
I'm getting it. Fuck, I gotta get it.
3 minutes on now. We might as well just turn the show
Might
off.
as well ask for another dirty text while I'm waiting. She never lets me down. There we go. Somebody's
yeah.
in here.
Chris Breezy, first time watching live. This
Oh.
should be entertaining. It is entertaining.
Well, it's thanks to me.
Depends on which side of the microphone you're on, I guess. I hope they heard Ocho Man yesterday. We were
that-
brilliant, weren't we?
That was pretty good, yeah.
Particularly brilliant.
It was a good show yesterday. I thought so too. Did I tell you what Armand said he would do to us for $2 million?
20 million.
Well,
20. Two. All right, two. I'll
Any amount of
See,
I
right.
think you
that's
told me something.
10%.
You both have your way with me. $2
Yeah,
million
if you guys
bucks.
don't listen to that show, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with your
Yes,
life. If you
yes.
listen to this one and don't
Quality
listen to that one.
podcasting. Non-pareil. Ocho Man.
That was a crazy show.
And I was expecting us to be live for another 10 minutes anyway, so we're kind of ahead of the curve today.
Are we? Yeah. People aren't ready for that yet.
Well, yeah, where's Rennie?
I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in him. In fact, next time I see him, I'm going to be like, Rennie.
Yeah, he's usually first on
You're
the
like
train.
12th.
And Luar.
Luar's usually right on it.
Oh, I gotta type in there. Eat it, Luar. No.
Oh, no, he's on my team.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Although
A
he's
lot of people
threatening-
are, Armand.
Proctor,
He threatened
hello.
to jump
Hey,
ship to
Since
Darren
we're-
Yates.
Since we're talking about it, oh, he did. I seen
Yeah.
that.
Who's
what's
jumping
with
to Darren
that?
Yates?
Somebody wanted us to have Darren on here.
Well, Darren's going to have his own show on Saturday night.
On this show?
Yeah, on this network.
This
But yeah,
network,
on
that's
this,
right, that's
somebody
right.
suggested we have him on the show
I think
as a guest.
Will he
on
be
the
here
show.
tonight? He may even start tonight.
I don't know, but I know he's actually now has a show on the network, though.
Does he? Cool.
Yeah,
What kind of-
actually two, I think. Over the top.
Podcast?
Yeah, he's going to do a podcast. And maybe even a live show. I'm not sure.
Dope.
Celestine Proctor, hello.
I wonder if that's
What's
the same
up, Dadney?
as Celeste Parker
Arizona
from,
Viking.
from the emails.
Of course.
Yes, it is.
Chris, how's
One
it
of our
going?
stalwarts.
Yes, he is. He's a good guy. still have that pen. I don't use that pen much. You want me because I just don't want to fuck it up.
Since you guys wanted to talk about the teams real quick before we go live, why don't we just mention the poll that was put up in the group? And
Why should we bother with that?
We could read the results real quick because that was just something interesting.
Well, I've lost that
late
poll.
start.
Well, no, not even that. You were on top. No matter what they say, I know there was vote manipulation, and that's the only reason I'm on top of you.
Is it the Russians again?
No, it's the Jessies.
It's Putin.
I'm pretty sure it was the
I know
Jessies.
he's behind this.
Luar, I hear this way said, I was listening to the past Ocho Man Behind the 8 Ball podcast episodes, and I like Darren Yates. Maybe the future Surreal Talk episodes, he'll have a guest appearance. Maybe I'll switch teams from Team Armando. His name's actually Team Armand, not Armando.
That's all right. I'll take. That's cool.
That's more Spanish.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Some people did call him when I was in L.A. Armando a lot.
What was the nationality of?
I like it.
The Anne Rice Armand.
Oh, that's the vampire, right?
Right, but what was his nationality?
Oh, I don't know.
They met in
French,
Paris.
wasn't he?
Yeah, well, they met in Paris, but I don't. But he was way old, way old.
Here we go.
So who knows where he was?
Was
from.
that Tom Cruise?
No, that was
Brad Pitt.
Benicio.
So
No.
I'd like to think.
Oh,
The Desperado. What was his
yeah,
name?
yeah.
Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, there you go.
So Luar, again, we're talking about him, put up a poll on the group. Whose team are you on?
Right.
Options were Team Eric, Team Everett, Team Armand, and also Team Ocho. So the results went as followed. In the lead, not surprising at all, with an astonishing 76 votes, was Team Eric. Always out front, of course.
I'm not astonished.
Next, coming in second.
Oh, this is a big one.
55 votes for Team Everett.
Oh.
Coming in third.
Oh, shit.
With 50 votes.
All right. We'll
Team
close the
Armand.
gap today.
No. You're already winning. I'm telling you, there's more than 5 votes that are bullshit votes for me. I've gone through it. I've audited the votes. And I see all these fake accounts. I know who they belong to, and there's a lot of them belong to the same person. So there's vote manipulation.
Dad.
So you, sir, are in second place.
All
I'm
right,
telling
thank
you that
you. I think maybe it's the Chinese.
It's not the Chinese.
Xi Jinping. That's who's doing it.
No, he's not Chinese.
Sure.
He's a good guy, though. I appreciate his effort, and fraudulating himself.
So I wish I had a fan that somebody vote for me 10 times. Danielle, come on. Marissa. Nah, Marissa.
You voted for Armand? Fuck you, Chris. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't blame you. Armand's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
What are people smoking? Team Armand all day. Yeah, well.
Hey,
All right. There's
right
gonna be some
Ross.
There's gonna be some bannings just starting right now.
The band hammer's coming down soon.
Obviously,
boys.
very perceptive gentleman.
Roos, what's his name? Roos Moron?
Hey,
Is that what it says?
no,
Oh.
Ross Haran,
I misread it.
a man
So
of
we about to start this or what?
perspicacity,
Let's give it a little more time. I know we got a lot to go. But I'm telling
discerning
you,
individual.
dude, we got 20 fucking pages in our document. There's no way we're getting through this in one show.
We're going to give it a hell of a go.
We're going to give it a go, but I say if we're not getting close, we call out for more shit and do another show on this.
Oh, hey, I'll take a pen. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I
Yeah,
feel
that'd
like
be
Chris
great.
make a fucking cool pen.
I'll
I
write
got
my
that going.
screenplays with it. I still
Did
write
I
on the
tell you
pad.
that I think that used to, no, you or Matt One still have my pen. Took it out of my desk drawer.
I don't
I'm
have it.
pretty upset about it. This
Is it a
personal
nice
gift.
pen?
Yes.
Could
It's
I-
a
is it-
personal-
could I
this
get
dude's
one
a woodworker, and he lathes.
Oh,
the
could I get one for my
outside.
dad? He loves pens, and he's 85. He's a little sick, and he
So
loves
the
pens.
The AZ Viking right there.
Oh,
is
man,
Chris
I
Dabney,
really
and that's what he
appreciate
does.
that.
He's a woodworker.
My father would love that pen. He loves that.
I don't
pen.
have your pen.
So-
Maybe
so
Matt
there you
does.
go.
You might want to check
All right,
with him.
appreciate
I
it.
would
Anyway,
have
I
known.
appreciate
You know
it.
what I mean? I would have known better. I got
I've
mine
never
at
seen
home.
it. Oh, okay. Why don't you bring it here? Well, somebody probably steal
That's
it.
what I'm
if
saying.
you
I
brought
got
it
mine at
here.
home.
That's
had
why I
mine
locked my
here.
door.
Like the shit Marissa made us too. Like those, I got those at home. The
What does she make?
She made us some like cool knitted shit, like the Surreal Talk logo. She knitted
Oh,
up.
shit. I'll
Thank
take one
you,
of them,
sir.
too.
Other cool stuff. Yeah.
Can we have some donuts? Somebody send some
She says in the
homemade
chat,
donuts?
I can't vote because Eric and Everett both make the show awesome.
No,
All right, then vote for me.
No.
That's easy.
No. She needs to vote for me. Let's just get it on the brass tack.
What's
Eric
the current-
hates women.
What's the
Yeah,
current
misogynist.
results on the-
He
I'm
hates
not a
women and minorities.
misogynist.
Racist.
Chris might sell these pins. He might have like an Etsy or something. Chris, you got an Etsy? You should post that stuff.
Agreed.
Make some money.
What's that sign that Jessica? What's that emoji? What does that mean?
It's going. Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh.
Current results: Team Eric 389 votes, Team Everett 376 votes on the site.
So that's pretty close. Only 13 off on the site.
because I was.
You
up
guys
by
were
like
tied for a
25.
long time.
Yeah, but then I,
I
went
mean,
up for a while.
in the long and short of it, if you drop this down by a quarter, we're only off by 3 votes. You know what I mean? Ish.
What's
Ish.
that? What's that? How do
I'm
you,
just saying.
how do you- what's the
we're only
logic
2 to-
behind that?
I'm just saying 2 to 3% off. Like whenever we're pretty much the same distance we were 300 votes ago. You know what I mean? Ratio wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the logic. That's all I mean. We're pretty much still neck and neck, percentage wise.
What would happen if you trebled both totals? be the same, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
No,
I don't know what that
actually,
means.
The percentage,
Trebled?
yeah, tripled.
Like
Oh,
bass?
tripled.
Trebled.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
that
same
makes
thing.
sense, yeah.
Like bass?
Doubled, trebled.
Trebled.
No.
Yes, it says make or become 3 times as large or
Right,
numerous.
trebled. Yeah.
Well,
You ever
there
heard
you
that
go.
term?
No, maybe, but
So that's
I
like
didn't
the
stick.
proper thrice.
Tripled is trebled is
Right. So like but I never knew that word.
right.
People always be like thrice. I did it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of there
three.
been
So that's the treble.
Yeah.
Not
Do what
doubled,
again?
trebled, quadrupled.
With an E, TREBLED.
Correct.
Want to do this
Yes.
again?
With the emoji?
I guess so. I do live
Okay.
emojis. I don't care. You should just see me do the shit emoji.
Oh, is that what it means? It means, oh my
It
God.
does it every
is that what
show.
it means?
Yeah, well, you know.
All right, let's rip it, man. Come on.
We in a hurry? All right, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, and we'll be ready.
Son.
Well, what time were you guys scheduled to begin?
3,
Okay.
2
well,
minutes.
Yeah.
He's getting ahead of himself. We got 14 people here. Let's give a few
Right.
people. I know. Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm just going to turn off your mic.
I did that to him playing games last night. He was so
It
pissed.
was 2 nights ago.
Was it 2 nights ago?
Yeah, I've put it in my calendar as reason number 766 to kill you.
Did you guys,
Busy killing motherfuckers to realize it was 2 nights ago.
Oh, my.
now did you do your wrestling show this week too?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Why don't you guys
did.
do an amateur wrestling? I'll do that one.
Well,
Yeah.
do
Real wrestling.
man.
What, you want to have a wrestling match or something on
I'm
the show?
podcasted out,
No,
sir.
I mean, you want to
Track
cover
people.
amateur college wrestling?
This is the only podcast.
Collegiate.
You know, this is my home podcast.
All
I don't
right.
want to do no more.
I know I got too many as it is.
No, you
I'll do this one
kind of spread kind of thin,
until
aren't you?
there's like 3 people left, and then I'll be like, "Fuck you, 3 people. What are you still doing here?" And we're done doing it at that point.
Thank you, Chris.
Part of the
All right.
Yo Radio Galaxy,
You dropping
Yes,
frames.
yes.
or is it universe?
We are dropping frizzies.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right,
We're
let's
doing
do it
good.
then.
All right, I'm gonna go start it.
Go start it.
Galaxy of what? What are you talking about? What you say?
The Yo Radio.
Oh, it's best in the universe. We had that
Okay,
checked
all right.
by Guinness Universe of World Book
Even-
of Records. Universe
That's
of
what I
Records.
heard.
Andromeda, all of them.
Any galaxy, sombrero galaxy.
How many do you think there are? A trillion? Is it now? Is it 2 trillion
Hundreds
now?
of billions.
No, it's more than that. I
No
think
fucking
they said
clue.
10 times as many as they thought, so it's more like 2 trillion now.
Jesus
I bet.
Christ.
I bet 10 times more than what they think they after now
Right.
that they even think, and
So
probably
20
10 times more
trillion.
than that. I'm saying there's
Treble it.
quadra treble.
I like how you use that in a
That's
sentence.
12
to
times it.
Right. Yeah, dodecanize
Solidified.
it.
Add 10, man. Some bitch.
Googlefy it. All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Eric would be kicking ass. That's right, I would.
You're a very humble man.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal.
You can't hear right? You good?
Yeah,
Something's
double.
not right, man. Something's not right. Something's bullshit here, and I don't believe it.
Wiser words were never
Honestly,
spoken.
this crazy shit could be completely possible.
Is that right? Could it?
Could be.
Could it?
I can't say it's
Disclaimer:
Okay.
we reserve the right to be wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
He's speaking to himself again.
Damn.
You think you know the whole story? Think again.
Now your hosts, Eric and Everett.
Welcome to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, a lineupmedia.fm production. And we are back today with the usual suspects, myself, Everett, and Mr. Dr.
Thank you.
Doctor,
Kashigian.
let's be
Dr.
respectful here.
Kashigian, Armand.
No formality,
Everybody
please.
knows and loves. Today we are talking about listener personal paranormal experiences. So we've got a lot of them. We want to get right to it. But we are going to start out today with something we haven't done in a long time.
You were
which-
hot today, man.
which is-
You were in a hurry today.
Which is read
You won't even
our
even answer me.
negative shit.
Champing at the bit.
We have not read our negative stuff
Can
in
you
a
hear me?
while. And
Yes.
Can you hear
fuck
me?
you just say?
I said, can you hear me?
Yes.
Slow down, man.
All right. So
Slow down.
what's up, everybody? What's up? Okay. No, go take it away. I was in my groove. You fucking killed my groove. Go.
Your groove was
Take it away.
killing me.
Take it away.
No, go ahead. We got the. You can start out with that email we got. How about
Yeah.
that?
So we got a really
right.
nice email. Where's it at? You got it, or you want me to get it?
You
I
got it.
I
It's in the doc.
I got it. Oh, it's in the doc. That's right.
And my Chrome just crashed. So
Yes.
I thought we were
and
concentrating on the negative one. We're going to start
yeah,
out
this
with a
is
good one and then
good negative email.
devolve.
It's not a good.
good.
This
Oh,
is
good.
not a
Oh,
good one.
good.
No.
Okay.
Got it. Are we busting the guy out? Am I naming names here?
yeah, I mean his name was attached to it.
Okay, so we got an email from Travis Pritchett.
Okay.
All right, and here we go. He says, I have listened to one episode, and I couldn't understand half of your fucking show because you judgmental pricks wouldn't shut the fuck up for 2 seconds and let one person talk. Ooh, that's fair. On a scale of 1 to 10, you guys are an 11. 10 being annoying as fuck and rude. The world doesn't revolve around your small-minded ideologies. I'd like to know what
I agree with that.
ideologies he's talking about.
What show was it?
I don't know.
No, he's only listened to one. It had to be the last show we did, the paranormal experiences from Reddit, where we
With
talked to
Ocho
him.
Man.
He continues.
You were Ocho Man 1 because we did it twice.
He continues and says, maybe next time you can just listen to or read someone else's words without throwing your opinion onto it.
Kind of what we do, though.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And we're
of the
doing it
show.
right now.
I'm probably just listening to the wrong podcast. I doubt people listen to your shit for what you think about people's stories. But hey, I'm the fucking idiot that kept listening past 15 minutes.
We got him.
Anyway.
That's right. Mind control.
And the next line. Anyway, hopes this helps. Till next time.
Yes, that was very helpful.
Till next time. So that means he's coming back.
I think that ended well.
Yeah, so thanks, Travis. We appreciate the email. And we
Yes.
can take some
Keep
constructive
the
criticism.
vituperation and vitriol coming.
Yeah, that was great.
So there's a couple other nice reviews from iTunes I want to hit real quick. This is a good one. Stop talking over each other. Makes your mediocre show a horrible experience.
Damn.
I'd like to say we don't do that as much as we used to.
No, not at all, but we still do too.
So they may have started at the old shows and,
No,
judge
you
us-
just
judge
did it
us.
right there because I was saying we may do it from time to time, and as I said time, you were like, yeah, and they
Sorry.
I thought that was kind of the trademark of the show. You guys
Right.
interrupting each other and
Is
cutting each other off.
I mean, it's pretty
and
close to it.
dismissing each other as fools.
All right, so let's hit that iTunes.
All right, hold on. There's only one really good one I want to finish with here. If you're not intelligent, you will love this. This is the title of the review.
Oh, now, hey, when they start scathing remarks about our fans, that's when they've gone too far.
That's what I agree. This is a good one, though. This is well written. This show is a truly enjoyable listen for people who lack intelligence and critical thinking skills.
That's
Ouch.
great.
Wow.
Son of a bitch.
So nice to see content produced specifically for the non-thinkers, the simpletons, and the easily misled.
Well-turned phrase, I must admit.
This guy writes well. There are plenty of well-researched podcasts and knowledgeable, insightful podcast hosts. More than we really need. Thanks
True.
for proudly presenting the opposite of that.
Right. That's one in our favor.
There's clearly an audience. Not everyone uses their brain for learning and critical thought. Some people use it for its regulation of biological functions like breathing, balance, hunger, and thirst.
Well, that's not the brain per se. That's the medulla oblongata. So
Well, he
I
goes on-
disagree with that.
Well, he goes on to say, whatever. They need,
brainstem.
they deserve entertainment too.
Are you done with that email?
Keep up the great work with a couple of clap emojis. And
I'll
it was
be
it
listening.
was a 3-star, as scathing as that was.
Out of how many?
Oh my God, that's me. Jessica Hunter said that.
I feel betrayed, Jessica.
Jessica?
Oh, Nina Marie Hernandez said, tell him to bite your crank at Seminole. Neholingo.
It's
The waha.
Ha.
Oh man, that's so bad. We can't do that. That's from him. We can't do that.
But that's what that is referring.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Revenge of the Nerds too.
So thank you for that, Jessica.
a good
If
writer.
That is you. We
like
appreciate
to,
it.
Like
You-
to help me
you
with
are
my
a good writer.
screenplays?
You're a good writer.
Co-write with me?
We had a special little voicemail from Kevin Bacon. He wanted to reply to all these emails. So here's Kevin on the phone. Kevin.
What do you have to say about all these?
Oh.
Oh, Nina Marie
I fucked that
Hernandez
up
said,
real
tell
bad.
him to bite your crank at Seminole. Neholingo. What do you got going on here?
Yeah, I fucked it up.
Didn't you just say that?
Yeah,
No.
he's got his tab open. And,
Oh.
and
Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds too.
Ah.
I missed the joke on that.
all right,
Well,
so we gonna
It
go ahead
wasn't
and start
timely,
out.
but it was appropriate.
Yeah.
We'll do the emails at the end because people don't like those at the beginning. So we got, or not the emails, the voicemails. We'll do the voicemails at the end, which we have quite a few of, and then but we'll start in with the emails. So these are listeners' paranormal experiences. You want to go ahead and start out with number 1, Everett, by Darlene?
Yep, sure. The first email we got was from a listener named Darlene Zubik. She starts out, "Hey guys, love you both. Been listening since nick of time. I got to go with Team Everett. Yeah. Sorry, Eric. I know you'll get an FU, but you're great too.
I don't say that to people that are team Everett.
Yeah, I don't
Just for the
use it.
record, I don't say fuck you to
Yeah,
people
you're not petty.
You know what it is? It's most people. The only people that really say fuck you are the people who are Team Eric.
Team Eric and are telling us that fuck you, Everett. That's what that's about.
I don't even know where that came from.
No, like we neither
They
one. say
they more want me to know they're Team Eric than they care that you know.
I think they're more
Team Eric.
anti-you
I
than
think exactly.
pro
I'm
Eric.
just the
yeah.
choice that's left.
Right,
Most
that's
of
it.
those people probably went to
Yeah,
Armand.
you're the
You're not
Jeb.
Everett.
You're the Jeb Bush of this show.
Oh, great.
Hey.
I'll take it.
Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
mean.
that one hurt.
That was mean.
God.
Anyway, she
cruel.
continues. Listening to the show right now, and I had to share my mom's most unbelievable paranormal story.
Okay.
Circa 1969, my mom, who was born with a veil over her face, which some say indicates a psychic ability. Armand, veil over the face?
I've never heard that. What? She was born with a veil over her face?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is that a figurative term? I've never heard that.
Hold on. Born. I'm going to have to figure this out. People are born with a veil called I guess it's a psychic thing.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know.
Okay, it implies psychic ability.
Yeah, I don't know. This is weird.
Have
I
you
don't
ever
know.
heard that
It's good.
term?
We're going to have to really
Have you?
research
Okay,
that
well,
one.
he has.
You've heard that before?
I have a veil over my face.
We should be so
No,
lucky.
that's a joke. But
Yeah.
I have heard it. It's like you can see other shit that you drink.
Are you sure?
Dudes, I could see things.
But you know, a
no one
veil
else can
obscures
see.
your right, but it obscures your face. I would think that.
It's about paranormal. Go on and read
All
it. She
right,
tells you
all
what
right.
it does.
Okay.
Anyway, which
Right.
some say indicates psychic abilities, is 13 years old and kept having a recurring dream of her Uncle Don dying. After 2 weeks of the dream, guess what? Uncle Don dies.
Ooh.
As a 13-year-old, she feels a sense of guilt and responsibility because of her dreams. She tells other family members who, of course, tell her it's not her fault and she shouldn't blame herself. That evening, the evening they buried Uncle Don, there was a glow in the hallway off my mom's bedroom. She goes into the hall and Uncle Don is standing in front of her and tells her it's not her fault. It's just his time. Then he vanishes, but on the ground where he was standing is the rosary that he was buried with earlier that day. I've seen this rosary firsthand, and Aunt Betty, Uncle Don's wife, swears it was him in the coffin and my mom wasn't at the funeral. Pretty freaky. Keep up the good work, guys. Darlene.
Wait a minute. The rosary he was buried with.
Was in the hallway after his apparition disappeared.
After he was,
Wow,
yeah,
that's-
that's fucking creepy, dude.
Yeah, if
There's
that
no-
happened, that's,
What?
Yeah, there's no explanation for that.
I don't
mean,
think I have one.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
I'd
hope
shit
n-
myself.
I hope nothing like that happens to me. Thanks, Darlene.
I don't
appreciate
know.
appreciate the email, darling. Thank you.
She's from Evan City, PA, which she goes on to say is home with Night of the Living Dead, so that's kind of some
Oh,
legit
boy.
Is
shit.
that where they filmed that at or something?
Yeah, because I must be outside Pittsburgh because that's where Romero was from. I know they filmed it outside Pittsburgh. Yeah, I didn't know it was Evan City, but
All right, well, moving right along, I'll
that's
take number
eerie,
2
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a
from-
bunch of these, so.
from quotations Ryan. So my name is Ryan. I've been listening for about 6 months now. I never do this, but something Everett said caught my attention. He said something to the effect of, what if these demons or spirits aren't good enough to have a body near the end of an episode?
I remember that.
While I am not terribly religious anymore, I was raised to LDS, which is
Latter-day Saints.
Mormon, yeah.
Right.
A little background on the religion. We believe that we come to this earth as spiritual beings in temporal bodies, where we have however many years on this earth to do good and learn to take care of people by following Jesus Christ. That being said, think of everyone that has ever stepped on this earth as spiritual beings, myself and you all as well included.
Okay.
We believe that there was a war in heaven in the pre-existence that is earth. Lucifer and Jesus both approached God with a plan for humanity during creation. Lucifer, Satan, the light bringer, the great deceiver, the devil, all one and the same, came to God and basically said, let me have dominion over the earth, and all of your creation will be forced to do good, and by not giving humanity free will, they will all return home after this life, and the glory be mine for saving all souls.
So if I can stop you there, I've been doing some weird just side reading lately on the devil and the whole dominion on earth. I don't think that there is a hell. I think that earth is hell. If wherever Satan has rule over is hell, if he has dominion over earth, I think that's the loophole there.
All right, then what happens after you die? Where do you go then?
I guess you stay here. I don't know.
Oh,
Purgatory.
No, not that.
Yeah.
Continues on by saying, Jesus said, give the people free will so they may choose to follow or choose to ignore. Get those true believers and glory be to God. A great war occurred in heaven and 2/3 of the spiritual beings chose Jesus' plan and the remaining 1/3 fought for Lucifer. Those 2/3 hosts that chose Christ's plan, me, you, everyone that has ever been on earth or will ever be on this earth, were rewarded with temporal bodies so we may experience life as humans with joy, sorrow, and pain instead of robots. That's why our bodies are gifts from God and temples. The 1/3 that were forced from the heavens that will never receive a body are on this earth to do whatever the people believe they do. What? And there are only so many souls in heaven, so once all of them receive bodies, whether it be 1 minute or 100 years of life, the second coming and rapture will follow that. Anyway, kind of fun to think about. Thanks for what you do. I used to hate Everett, but you're cool now. So he goes on to say Team Armand at the very end.
Hey,
What are you going to do?
brilliant man.
One interesting thing I took out of that was there's only so many souls that will ever get a body, and once they
Right.
run out of those souls, apparently that's whenever
that's when the
rapture
Is
rapture
that
will
what
happen.
is that what
That was-
was
That's what he
implied
was
by
saying.
that?
Yeah, that's why
Okay,
I was like,
didn't get
wow,
that.
what
Okay.
the fuck? That's great. Yeah, as I said, I never thought about that. That's
All
kind
right,
of
well,
crazy.
let's think about that one. All right, well,
Indeed.
okay. That's food for thought.
Indeed.
You want to hit the next one, Everett?
Yep. This is from Robert
Eschatology.
Bob Brew, bro.
Roberto.
BREAU, bro. Bob
B-R-E-A-U.
Bruh.
EAU, bro.
Bruh.
Bro, I would imagine, yeah.
Bro. Hey, Bob, bro. Anyway. Hey, guys. Big fan of the show here. First time writing in. Team Everett, by the way.
Well, fuck.
My story isn't as chill-inducing as some of the others you guys have been reading, but still fun enough to share. My parents bought their house when I was 10 in 1995. It was an older house built in the early 1900s. Nothing ever seemed out of the ordinary there, and I never experienced anything when I was awake in conscience. It was comfortable, but I did have dreams in which an old, crotchety, grumpy man would always appear. It would be dreams that felt hyper-realistic. For instance, I would get out of bed and walk downstairs into the living room because I had heard people talking and assumed my parents had late-night guests over. But when I got there, it was a group of unfamiliar men in suits and the old guy looking straight at me with a stern look. Then I'd wake up. Another time in high school, I dreamt I was at football practice, and I looked over to the side of the field, and he would be standing there watching. It happened a lot like that. I never felt scared of this guy. I just assumed it was someone my brain made up and for whatever reason put in my dreams from time to time. That'd be kind of weird. My brain's made up a character, and he's following me.
I mean, is
Same
that
g-
not an
same guy.
imaginary friend?
Yeah, same guy from the dream showed up in a dream about football practice. So, anyway.
Oh, okay.
Fast forward to the year I graduated college. I was living back at home with my parents, who were away for the weekend. My siblings were away at school, so I was the only one in the house. My parents had no pets at the time. I came home from a night out with friends, super drunk, and began to watch TV on the couch. When I was finally ready to pass out, I decided I was comfortable where I had, so I just turned off the TV and let myself drift off to sleep. The next thing I remember was another dream with the old man. I hadn't seen him since high school. He was standing there with his grumpy scowl telling me, "Get the fuck up, you don't sleep here, get up." In the dream, I heard a series of about a dozen small taps or crashes, spaced about a second or so or two apart. Kind of like the sound your phone makes when you drop it on the floor, but a bunch of times in succession. Those sounds woke me from the dream, and the faint light of the dawn was coming through the window. I realized I was uncomfortable, so I peeled myself off the couch and walked towards the stairs to go up to my bedroom for a couple more hours of sleep. I got to the third or fourth step when it hit me that something was off. My mom had a shelf in the living room with a bunch of picture frames with images of the family. Every picture had been knocked over, so they were all face down, and the shelf was exactly where they stood. They had been knocked down on the shelf where they had stood. I picked one back up and then knocked it over with my hand and made the same noise I heard in the dream. This freaked me out so much that even hungover, I didn't go back to bed that morning. If these pictures were simply knocked over onto the floor, or if the shelf had been disturbed in any way, I would have chalked it up to me getting drunk in my sleep and going to take a piss and falling into the wall. But these pictures were all in their proper places and could have only been turned over deliberately, one by one. I could not reconcile this fact that the sound was happening while I was laying there on the couch. I've never been able to explain it, and I haven't dreamt of the guy since.
Oh, man.
Okay, that's pretty creepy.
Yeah, no shit.
Mr. Dream Dude comes in, tells you get the fuck up off the couch, and then knocks over a bunch of pictures which you hear through your dreaming. That's pretty weird. Again, I can't think of any rational explanation for pictures just falling over and staying in place.
Well, yeah.
Come on, Armand, what do you got? Why won't this?
Right, why are the fucking pictures not staying, Armand? What do you got?
Yeah, because I can't come up with a skeptic view of this.
I'm still trying to reconcile that rosary. I don't know. We've got some pretty tough ones today.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty creepy.
Yeah, and these are our listeners?
Yeah, these are listeners.
My God.
This one's actually
I'm getting scared now.
not a colleague, more of a professional associate.
He listens
Somebody
to the
we
show,
all
though.
know?
No.
He's called in before to the show.
This
or
is
left a
Danny
voicemail.
from the Working Stiffs podcast, and you can find that at workingstiffspodcast.com.
Okay.
About a year ago, he writes in and says, about a year ago, I discovered something called grief demons. After looking
No, he doesn't say grief demons, grief dreams.
Oh, shit, grief dreams. Yeah.
Totally different thing.
Yeah. After looking into it, I realized it was terrible. It was a term to describe several dreams I've had over my life. A guy named Joshua Black is kind of a leading expert in the field. You can look him up to find more about different types and definitions of grief dreams. Here's a story of my most important grief dream. In October of 2007, my Uncle Mert died. He had been very sick for months, and that the end was imminent. I lived far away and wasn't able to make it back to say goodbye like the rest of the family, and our whole family is not very emotional. There's not a ton of I love yous at family gatherings, but we all know that we do. Our family's like 90% male, so that might have something to do with it. Well, they got to have some females in there, or else it wouldn't be a family.
Correct.
At the beginning of the dream, I'm very small, a child, like 5 or 6 years old. I'm frantically making my way through a crowd of people on some kind of street fair or carnival. It's like I'm trying to get somewhere before I'm too late. As I'm moving through the crowd, I keep getting bigger. I'm probably about 10 or 11 years old when I accidentally bump into a man. I turn and say, "Oh, excuse me." Typical of my uncle's joking personality, he says, "I ought to give you a black eye, pal." I turn and look at him, and now I'm full grown, because now I'm looking at him eye to eye. He looks a little younger, healthy, and he's dressed in all black like Johnny Cash. His wife, who is still alive today, was standing beside him, but I never really looked directly at her in the dream. I gave him a hug, which I don't believe ever happened in real life. He puts his hands on my shoulders and pushes me back a little. I said to him, "Uncle Mert, I know we're not really good with emotions in our family." He laughed and cut me off before I could say anything else and said, I know, it's okay." Out of nowhere, my mother appears and pulls me away and guides me over towards some steps to sit down. As we're walking, I turn and look, and he and his wife are literally walking into the sunset. All I can see is a beautiful golden sky and their silhouettes. I woke up and was standing next to my bed and a little out of breath. My wife steps out of the bathroom and asks me what I was doing, because now I'm leaning over with my hands on the bed. I told her Uncle Mert's dead, and I recalled the dream to her. The next morning, my mother called to tell me that he had passed, and I had told her that I already knew and told her the dream. Thanks, guys. Wow. That's fucking creepy. That's Danny from the Working Stiffs podcast. That's creepy as shit to me, because this is a guy, fucking grown man that's telling you, like, he literally had this crazy dream, recalling all maybe of his past experiences with his uncle, although, walked his life through as he was going through this crowd and finally meets him at the end. And he's telling you, like, look, this happened to me. And then a couple days later, he actually fucking died. Man, that's nuts.
Speaking of that,
That's great. That's great.
Have you ever had a dream? And
Danny, thank you.
My residency director, the guy who taught me surgery, died pretty young. He's like 45.
Right.
And I once had a dream that he was in, but he would have been dead, but he'd been like 20 years older. And he's actually older. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had a dream like that where somebody's...
No.
I mean, like when I dream my grandmother or people that have died, they look the same.
Right.
But this guy was like 65. It was really odd. He was
That
old.
is odd.
And I thought, it was weird because that brought that to me, because it's this aging thing in his dream that's kind of odd, that he gets older. Now his uncle stayed the same age, I suppose,
yeah.
right?
That's what it said in the mail, yeah.
But he's aging. I've never heard a dream like
What
that
do you think?
before.
What do you think people keep people have paranormal experiences with dreams? Like, why chalk it up to paranormality and
Because
not
it's a
just
semi-conscious state, I guess. That
Yeah, I
you
mean,
would think it's not wakening. It's not consciousness. It's not quite.
yeah, but why is that paranormal? I don't know. Just because you're dealing with people who are possibly dead, and it could be a message from beyond. I've never had. See,
You think
that's
they're
what
more
I think.
easily.
I've
That's
never
a different
had-
dimension, maybe.
I don't
Easier?
know. I've never had an experience myself where I've had a vision, so to speak, through a dream of a dead family
No,
member.
not.
But so I don't know how that experience feels. Maybe it does feel paranormal. If it felt real enough that you thought they were actually talking to their spirit, maybe. Have you ever had anything like that where you've had a dream with a dead family member or a dead friend that felt even close to real?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've had them, but not like they haven't told me. It's like they're still alive.
Yeah, but
like
it's-
an
so
episode.
I have a particular dream that I have, not often, but I've had it multiple times, and it's like the person looks the same, but they don't say anything, so it's not like, it's just like vision, like I can,
You're not making any sense.
No, I'm not making contact with the person. They're there. I'm dreaming that
They're just in the area?
they're just in my dream.
I mean, like my
but it's not
grandmother's
like they're
dead, but I
talking or
have
nothing.
dreams about her serving me, like she used to serve me dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's serving me dinner just like it happened all the time. My mother, whatever, we're talking just like.
We've
she'd
never
still
had
be
any of
alive.
these dreams where these people that are gone have tried to give you a message that
No,
worked out?
I've never had that.
That would still be
Never
fucking-
had that.
We had that one where the guy had the dream of his brother last week or the week before where he hid the remote.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
that was,
right.
dude. That was gnarly. That was a
Yeah.
good. That
She
was
told
a
him
good
where it
story.
was,
I
right?
like that.
Yeah,
And he'd already looked there, right? Wasn't that the twist?
indeed. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. This is Jordan Vogelman.
Hang on, let me stop for you. Justin H in the chat says, "Are you guys still taking life stories? Email them to us, and if we can't get to it this week, we'll finish it up next week and read it next week." So
Probably.
info@surrealtalkpodcast.com.
Okay, anyway, Jordan Vogelman, he says, "Hey, you guys, I just listened to the Paranormal Stories episode
Last week.
and I thought I would share my experience. Keep in mind, while reading this, I have always been intrigued by ghost stories since I was little, but nothing has ever happened leading up until this night, so I've been kind of skeptical. I don't know what year it was because it happened way before I was born, but my father's dad, which would have been my grandpa, was a policeman and was murdered while showering in a hotel. Growing up, my dad, that's right up your line, it's like some mob shit, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. A hit. Ooh, in the shower.
Growing up, my dad told me some stories about how Grandpa visited me. What? Growing up, my dad has told me some stories about how my grandpa visits from time to time. But knowing my dad, he was always being a bullshitter. I always took him in with a grain of salt. He would tell us about how my grandpa supposedly haunted a property that my dad owned and made a family move out. How my grandpa has always been a trickster and kind of a dickhead when he was even alive.
That's awesome.
Okay.
One that stood out to me was when my little brother was still a newborn. He woke up crying one night. My dad took him in the basement, redone basement, to calm him down and try to get him back to sleep. I would have been around 5 years old at the time. As he was rocking my brother back and forth in the chair and finally got him to sleep, the wood paneling in the basement started to creak from one side of the basement all the way around the room to the other side, and woke my little brother back up. I've had some eerie feelings in that basement before, seeing as I used to sleep down there when I would visit on the weekends, but I never had any personal experience. So about 4 years ago, my little brother was having 2 of his friends sleep over for a birthday party and having nothing else to do. I decided I would hang out with them downstairs and watch a couple movies. One of these friends, Alex, had been known for his sleepwalking. Around 12:30 a.m., my brother was asleep. Alex was asleep. Me and my brother's other friend, Trace, were awake watching the movie. At this point, Alex starts to sleepwalk. I wake him up, and he starts to panic a little, but I assure him that he is okay, calmed him down, and walked back to the couch. Me and Trace continued to watch the rest of the movie. About 5 minutes later, thinking Alex was asleep, I turned to my left to see Alex just staring at me. Me and Trace immediately look at each other like, what the fuck?
Right.
Alex then begins to sleepwalk again. I wake him back up, and he instantly starts to panic again and repeats, I am never going to be able to sleep again. I am never going to be able to sleep again. Why is this happening to me as he's crying? Me being the older brother, I was a little weirded out. I went upstairs and got my dad. My dad ended up calling his mom, and she picked him up. At this point, my brother was awake again since it was a big scene, trying to fuck around with my brother and his friend Trace, knowing they were both freaked out. I say, Dad always said Grandpa was always down here. Oh, what a dick.
I like this guy.
Then followed up by saying, Grandpa, if you're here, let us know. Not even 10 seconds later, from the other side of the room, a plastic round coin bank, piggy bank, fell off a shelf and rolled in the middle of the room. We all looked at each other with huge eyes and followed each other into the other room to see the bank in the middle of the room. Now, it's not what might not seem as creepy as the other stories being told on the podcast. The energy in the room and a series of events turned me into a believer. Telling my dad the story the next day, he goes, come downstairs, I want to show you something. Kind of creepy.
Yeah.
In the basement, the living room door opening, my brother made a paper mache orca whale that my dad has hanging. He goes, this is how I communicate with Grandpa. Even with the events that have happened the previous day, I thought he was just trying to scare me now. He proceeds to go, Dad, I know you just do this when I'm here alone, but can you please move the orca? After about 10 times of saying it, nothing happened, and the paper mache orca stayed completely still. Thinking he is crazy and getting ready to walk away, very angry, he says, Dad, just move the goddamn orca. And sure as shit, the orca starts to spin and move the fishing line it was on.
Get the fuck out.
The air wasn't on, no breeze. It was completely still and started to spin pretty quick. This is a long-ass message. I don't expect you to air it. Just want to share it with you guys. And
we did air it. Yeah. And that is a good message. That was actually pretty funny, too.
Creeped me out. Creeped me out pretty good.
Yeah, wow.
I want a paranormal experience.
I know. It seems fun.
Yeah, I want one of them.
Dang it. Anyway.
All right,
let's hit the next one. This is our boy RC. He's always leaving voicemails. You know him.
Yeah, RC. He's a good old boy. He says, "Hey boys, it's your boy RC here, aka the OG Smoking Bandit,
Yeah,
and I'm coming at you with like 7 O's spooky ghost story."
That last one got my eyes watery a little bit. That happens with good paranormal stories. Gets my eyes.
You
watery.
crying?
Not crying, but it makes my eyes like, it freaks me out, dries my eyes out because I don't blink. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, bitch.
Fuck you, man. I'm just saying, I get dry eyes.
All right.
Then they get wet.
Go have a good cry.
So do with this as you please. This is not my personal story, but a story my mother experienced. I'm from a beautiful town of Ohio. I'm from the beautiful town of Ohio.
I'm sure they meant a beautiful town in Ohio. Anyway.
Huh.
Although somebody know it as Winesburg. There, boom, Winesburg.
My child home is one of the
yeah.
oldest in the town, being built in the tall end of the 1800s. I'm saying this just so you know that the setting for a few of these stories. I submit this first story to the Midnight Society, the tale of the disappearing grandpa.
What was that from? Was that a Nickelodeon show? Tales from the Midnight Society?
I think so.
I submit to you the tale of blah, 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 blah. We were kids.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Oh, man, those are good old days. When
Anyway.
we were kids, we used to have ghost story programs after school. Kids weren't pussies like they are these days.
No.
Anyway.
Here we go. Growing up, my mother wasn't very close to her parents. Her mother was preoccupied with her job, and her father wasn't in the picture. While my mother didn't have much guidance in regards to her parents, she found a multitude in her grandparents. More specifically, her grandfather. She looked up to him like he was her father, and loved him as so. One Sunday morning, my mother was in the upstairs bathroom, curling her hair and rocking out to some jammin' 80s tunes. I can only assume. She was playing a cassette from her bright pink boombox when all of a sudden she heard shouting coming from the foyer downstairs. This must be Grandpa, she thought to herself. He must want me to turn down the music. She paused the tape and went to look over the balcony to the downstairs, but to her surprise, there was no one there. She went downstairs to look for him, but he was nowhere to be seen. That's when she remembered that it was Sunday. Grandma and Grandpa wouldn't be back until church was over, and there was an hour or so left of that. Kind of confused, she went back to the upstairs bathroom. When she stepped into the bathroom, she was shocked. The tape from her boombox was missing. She looked up both upstairs and downstairs, but never found it to this day. The story of my great-grandfather does not end here. Sometime after he passed away, my mother was driving past the house one day. As she turned in the corner, she saw him. No, not out of the corner of her eye or something that looked like him. She saw her grandfather plain as day in his blue plaid pajama pants, a coffee-stained wife beater carrying the morning paper in, while smoking a cigarette, and the same thing he did almost every morning.
Sounds like a badass.
Before he had no shit, right? Before he stepped inside the house, he smiled and waved at her. The final incident happened Christmas of 1998. My mother had just finished wrapping the presents and was sitting on the couch with my father, getting ready to light a joint. Sound like good people.
Cousins.
Just as the match was struck, they had heard 3 hard knocks on the mantel. They were startled, but not scared. It's an old house, after all. My father lit the joint, and sure as shit, the knocks came again. This time more precise. My mom knew who it was. She put the joint out and told my father they needed to go to bed. When he asked her why, she told him, Papa doesn't like the smoke.
I think it's Pawpaw, not Papa.
That's probably right, yeah, Pawpaw. Pawpaw doesn't like the smoke. Yeah, because it's her grandpa. I get it. So I know how these stories sound, and I'm not even certain I believe them, but I will never forget the night she told me these 3 stories. I've never seen her that way, and she had to stop and wipe the tears from her eyes a few times.
Yeah.
I knew these weren't tears of sadness, however. She was happy because even after he died, she knew her Pawpaw would always be looking out for her. Take it easy, guys. Thank you.
Her eyes are like Everett's kind of, huh?
Yeah, we get Ghost
misty
calls us
eyed.
to cry like bitches.
Well, that's the question. Now, let me ask you this: if you die and you know they always say, "I'll see my family when I go to heaven," you know, my dead mother or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to see him at I never knew my grandmother anything past she was 70-something years old. So are you going to see her as a young woman, or that's what I was
like the Matrix residual self-image, like whatever your residual self-image is.
is that how it
them.
goes?
So I
you
don't think
think?
it's like that either, because that means you have one look that everybody sees, and it's based on how you see yourself.
But it's different for everybody. It's
So I
your
see you one
residual
way, and
self-image.
Armand sees you a different way?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's what I want to
in heaven.
Yeah.
So that's how it would be, you think?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. However,
So how would she see me if I'm like a baby when she died?
then
would
that's how
see
she
me
would know you. Yeah, that's how she would know little
interesting.
baby,
I mean, even
baby
if-
Armand with his baby dick.
That's assuming that our perceptions in the
I
afterlife.
still have that. she'll recognize it.
That's assuming that our perceptions of each other in the afterlife are visually based, rather than just knowing that the
Emotionally
essence.
based,
well, no,
right,
they could be
yeah.
the essence of you. I know is here. I don't know that you are you by how you looked when you were alive.
Right. No, well, I'm saying this is 'cause people can
Yeah.
relate it this way.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
That's true.
But that's a
little
good point you
existential.
make. I mean, because that could be you don't fucking know, right?
Right.
Have you ever actually seen somebody comment on that?
I've been to heaven. No, wait, what?
No,
Guess I've been
repeat
eating.
that.
No.
Anyway, I'll get the next one. You ready?
Yes, sir.
An authority.
The next one's from Derek Lytle. He says, "Hey guys, keep up the good work. I wanted to add this to the list of stories for the show. Team Everett, by the way, real recognize real. You goddamn right we do, or Derek. Oh God, I almost called him Chris. That kind of
Chris
kills the
Lytle.
whole thing. Yeah, I remember him. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, my story goes like this. Back in 2006, I lived in my first apartment with my 9-month-old son and his mother. Something about the apartment seemed off after we moved in, but I kind of shrugged it off. Weird things began to happen around the apartment complex with my neighbors that involved the police many times. I always heard yelling and things breaking next door until they finally got evicted. No sooner after the tenants were evicted, I began to develop a lot of anger issues that I've never had before, until they came out of the blue. My son's mother and I always argued over the dumbest things, and some arguments resulted with things being thrown across the room, too.
Damn.
I'm not sure if any of it's related to the tenants next door, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like the negative energy of it I felt when I moved in is somehow connected. But that's not the story I want to dwell on. That's interesting, though, to think there's like a malevolent energy in a place.
Who the people that moved in?
So you say the neighbors were always fighting everything?
And that
The cops are
permeated.
there. Right, whenever they were evicted and moved out,
Ah.
it moved into him. Like he had the bad juju.
Interesting premise. Okay.
Armand's thinking, I
I'll
smell a
put that
story.
subplot
So
somewhere.
your guys' experience you don't know now are becoming Armand's next 12
That's
movies.
right. Yeah, I'd like everyone that sends these in to sign a waiver that I won't be sued if I use these.
That's funny. Anyway, but that's not the story I wanted to dwell on. This story happened one afternoon while I was home with my son and his mother was working. I just put my son down for a nap. I worked night shift, so the afternoons were my time to get some sleep. That day, I had decided to just take a nap on the couch. I want to quickly paint a picture of the living room. It's about a 20 by 20 area with a couch on the side of the wall, the TV sitting on top of the stand on the other side of the wall, parallel from each other with a coffee table in between the two. That's a big old living room.
Hell yeah, bud.
Wow.
All right, thanks for that, Eric.
No problem.
He's in heaven again.
I guess so. I was laying on my right side facing the TV as I began to fall asleep when I was startled when I heard this weird high-pitched sound. It sounded similar to what a dog whistle would sound like or the moment you turn on one of those old tube TVs. Just a high-frequency electronic sound, but very piercing. As the sound overcame me, I felt my body tighten up in a matter of seconds. I couldn't move at all. Sounds like sleep paralysis. Now I'm awake, eye opened, and terrified. I have no idea what the fuck is going on because this never happened to me before. Seconds later, before I could really freak out even more, I saw this dark gray cloud begin to form in the middle of the room, just above the coffee table. As this thing formed, I had this feeling that I was being watched by something or someone. And no sooner than after that feeling, I saw two huge black eyes within the cloud staring back at me. I couldn't see a face because the eyes
That sounded like two huge black guys. In the
Starring,
clouds.
yeah.
Black eyes.
Black eyes.
Yeah, it
Eyes,
just
yeah.
sounded like black guys. That was funny. I don't know, sorry.
That
What
could be
was it?
scary, too.
Oh, my fucking God.
Well, I mean,
God damn
big
it.
guys are tough.
That's true.
Yeah,
All
beat the
right.
hell out of you, man.
They're violent. That's apparently what we're getting across here. As this thing formed, I had this feeling that I was being watched by something or someone, and no sooner than that, I had these two huge black eyes formed within the cloud, staring back at me. I couldn't see a face because the eyes took the majority of the space of the cloud, but once I saw that, I panicked. I had my flip phone right next to me near my chest, and although I couldn't move my arms and the rest of my body, I could somehow move my fingers on my left hand, to which I was able to flip open my phone and hold down the number 1 to call my ex on the speed dial. Got his ex on his number 1 speed dial, huh?
I
Hey,
don't know. I
come
don't know.
on
That's
now.
not wise.
Anyway, not judging.
Yeah, that's
He's got a kid, maybe. I don't know the whole story.
I
Anyway,
guess.
as I'm looking into
Suspect.
the smoky, massive cloud, it slowly disappears. Once the cloud was gone, I snapped out of the paralysis state and jumped up to get my son. When I walked into the bedroom, he was wide awake, standing up while holding onto the crib rails. I grabbed him, got my shoes, my phone, and my keys, and I left the apartment. I took my son to the park and just stayed there until his mom got out of work. She called me when she got off and asked why did I call her. I told her to meet me at the park and I'll tell you everything. After we hung up, I looked at my phone, and it showed that I did indeed call when I was going through that whole ordeal. Long story short, we moved out of that apartment as soon as the lease was over. I don't know if I'd have
call.
waited for it.
Yeah, that's a good call, though.
And no, did he say anything else? That was it? That was the end of the episode there?
He's got some more in this email. I don't know. Maybe they'll say something.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Now, fast forward about 4 years later. Oh, shit, I can't read what you think. Okay. We moved into a new suburban townhome. My son is now 5, and I also have a daughter that was 3 months old at the time, and I experienced this encounter again. This happened one late evening. I was in bed with my ex, laying on my back, when all of a sudden that high-pitched sound started up again. All I could say to myself was, no, 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 not again. As this was happening, I couldn't move my body. I tried my hardest to pinch my ex to wake her up so she could save me, I guess, but nothing happened. After a minute or two, I snapped out of it and was terrified once again. I didn't want to go back to sleep, but I was tired, so I ended up falling back asleep. I kid you not when I say this, but the same high-pitched sound came back again. I go through the same thing trying to pinch her, resulting in nothing. Once I snapped out of it, I'm just so fucking pissed off and ready for war. I have no idea why this has happened to me. Not 1, but 2 times in the same night.
That's crazy.
At this point, I'm used to the feeling and want it to come back because I'm just fed up. I put myself to sleep with the mindset of fighting whenever this is, and guess what? It comes back for the 3rd time, but this time I was prepared. I heard the sound once again, but this time I heard a small, creepy voice at the foot of my bed saying it in a chuckling voice, "We got you now."
All right, I'm fucking out.
You're not fighting, huh?
Wow.
Well, he's pitched for battle.
Sorry,
here.
go ahead. Sorry.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'd be
What
ready to fight
happened?
if I heard that. As soon as I heard that, I broke out of the paralysis state. But when I broke out of it, it seemed like it was still I was supposed to be in it, if that makes any sense. When I broke out of it, I sat up and reached up the end of my bed to grab whatever was there, and I couldn't see anything since the room I was in was dark. But I did grip up something and flung it back towards the headboard of my bed. Whatever it was wasn't physical because when I flung it, nothing hit the headboard. But ever since that night, I haven't had a sleep paralysis event like that until this past July in a Miami hotel, a whole 7 years later.
Wow.
Says, note, I'm not religious whatsoever. During my time in the first apartment, I studied a lot about remote viewing and attempted to try it myself, if that has any significance. I assume he means like
Yeah, yeah. Astral projection and
Okay,
stuff like
is that what it is?
Yeah, out of body
Different,
experience.
Right.
After my experience in the second house, I read about the alternate theories about sleep paralysis, which are the old hag, the intruder, alien visitation, shadow people, angels, demons, incubus, succubus, and it really creeped me out. I also learned that the normal human being will experience a sleep paralysis 1 to 2 times in their entire life, but there's some who can have these regular episodes 5 to 10 times. I've been fortunate or unfortunate enough to have experienced it 5 times already at 31. This can't be written off as a sleeping problem. There's a lot more to it than we know. There's a lot more stuff coming out about the gray, black, white, red smoke cloud appearing indoors and outdoors. Thank you for your time, fellas. Yeah, I saw a black cloud one time, so
Yeah.
I know.
Right on. Well, okay, so you want to read one more, and then I'll read the one after that, because the one after that's super long. And I'll read that long one if you want to read one more.
I mean, you suck at reading, so
I do suck.
I don't mind reading a long one.
Right, but I'm going to read this. I have a good voice, apparently. So that's
Yes.
Oh, that's what this is all about, eh?
Right.
Oh.
One
Okay.
listener will be ecstatic to hear that.
Now you're transparent. I get you. All right.
I was jealous. I bet she's good looking too.
Oh, that
I
matters. This next one's from Celeste Proctor. I'm pretty sure she's in the chat today.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Hello.
She's a fan.
Celestine, I think it's.
thank you.
Anyway, she says, I'm such a fan of the podcast. Team Eric. All right.
Hey.
Well,
what are you gonna
questionable
do,
taste.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Are we good? Okay. I will start by saying I believe myself to be clairsentient, clear feeling, a clairvoyant, clear seeing, a clear cognizance, clear knowing, and I possess clairaudience, clear hearing. And can hear the
Correct.
skeptics calling bullshit, but my hand on the Bible, it's true.
I believe her.
Do you?
I mean, yeah.
Is she on your team?
I believe she believes.
Whose team is she
Eric,
on?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no wonder.
She says she believes that. I believe that she believes it, so we'll go
Yeah,
there.
that's what I said. I believe that she thinks it's. I mean,
I have no explanation for things that have happened in my life. I also don't have any control of when these things occur, and it can be hard to distinguish between my thoughts and feelings from those of other people or my angels and guides. So it kind of gets bleed through, it sounds like, of other people's shit. I don't remember what my first paranormal experience was, but I do know I've always had them. I remember watching shadow people in the hallway of the home I grew up in. They scared me at night, and I would hide under my covers and sweat to death. We got to look into these shadow people one of these days. Apparently, it's a real big deal that I've not experienced at all of you.
never.
Have you looked
Shadow
into-
people?
Yeah.
Is that what you're calling these?
Yeah,
It's a paranormal.
a little bit. but I
It's a
haven't.
thing out there that a lot of people have written in about shadow people.
Paranormal experience.
Anyway.
man.
I'll read up on that.
Where was I? I live in a small town of Cleveland, Tennessee. When I was a kid, me and my mom would go to the Tinsley Park and walk a wooded trail. It was a half-mile down to a loop that you walk around and back a half-mile down to the parking lot. Tinsley is a very busy park in the summertime. It's not unusual to see 1,000 people there. It's pretty good. There's a huge community swimming pool, playground, and ball fields. There was exercise stops all the way down the trail, and being 8 to 9 years old, I made sure to stop and play on all of them. Me and my mom were talking and having a good time. I remember noticing that there were no other people on the trail, which was unusual. Then suddenly we stopped walking in Then suddenly we stopped walking in at all at the same exact time. It's like we were frozen. We had reached the loop at the end of the trail, and instead of being sunny and hot, it was shadowed and much cooler than it should have been for a July evening. We both turned away from looking at each other, and our gaze was drawn straight ahead of us. There was a figure that was approximately 9 foot tall, wearing what looked like a monk's robe, and the entire figure was solid black. This black was different, though. There was like an absence of anything. There was nothing at all where the face should have been. It was just a total void.
That's your shit.
I know. I got the distinct feeling that it wasn't male or female, just evil. This fucking weird void thing keeps popping up and popping up. We're gonna. It might be the only real thing out there because it's something I've experienced. But anyway, I believe this. My mom whispered, "Run." Whatever happened at that moment and the moment we reached our car is total blur. I don't remember the run back to the car. I don't remember seeing my mom run either. I just remember jumping in the passenger seat and trying to catch my breath. We sat there for a minute trying to process what just happened. We didn't speak a word. It would be many years before we actually spoke about what happened that day. It was truly terrifying, but we agree on the account of this story. As an adult, I think this was a demon of some kind. I've had probably 100 paranormal experiences in my life, but this is the one that always makes me feel nervous and anxious when I think about it or discuss it with my mom. I've had some head-scratcher experiences and some scary experiences, but nothing that ever is terrifying as the demon. Have a great show and keep up the fantastic work. Thank you very much, Celeste.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's fucking void.
Yeah, that's Everett's paranormal experience. I'm sure you've heard it. You know, that's crazy, man. Because they're
It's like the exact way I describe it, like a
Right.
sucking of the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a black hole.
Yeah, it's really weird.
All right. So the next one's from Sarah Sarian Music. Long email, but here you go. This overnight investigation happened in 2006. I'm Sarah, and I co-founded West Chicago Paranormal with my friend Alexander. We were called in to investigate what used to be my old hometown's train station, which was changed to the town's Chamber of Commerce a few decades back. All employed there were male. Okay. Alex and I were close. Alex and I were close to one of the workers as we deal with confidentiality with all investigations. I'll change the names of those involved at the chamber. Jeremy was a friend of Alex and I, and he had told us how many how many times they'd been working and seen a shadow person crossing the hall outside of their office area. They'd hear disembodied voices, smell odd and sometimes horrible smells, and one time a stack of boxes in the hall suddenly shot across the hall. Not a soul was by them. Okay, I was figuring, like, what the shit? A whole stack of boxes shot across the hall. I guess like straight out of a movie. Yeah, like that. Wow. Anyway, occasionally they'd feel someone or something touch their arms and shoulders, etc., etc. Typical potential paranormal activity. It was interesting information, but not enough to warrant an investigation. Few months went by, and Jeremy contacted us.
I think it is.
He was very concerned. A female delivery driver had come in one day and went to put some items into the basement. Jeremy was in the office with one other coworker who was there. It was only the two of them working that day, and they'd heard a loud racket. Then the lady let out a scream. She had been violently pushed while close to the top of the stairs and fell, hitting her head and breaking her arm. No one had been by her at all when she'd been shoved. The push was felt in her upper back and shoulder area. Given this new and horrible information, Alex and I decided to set up an overnight investigation with the rest of our team. Once physical damage and events started happening, things are getting into the serious category. The owner of the building let us in and stayed with us all night while we got set up. I'll take a few moments to do a wee history on the X train station. It was built around the early 1890s and was used as a train station until the 1900s. It was then that it was remodeled into the current office building and gathering spot that it is today. Fuck, I just messed that all up. Hang on, I lost my spot because I hit the wrong button trying to
Here,
go
I'll
down.
highlight where you are. See it? Here,
Almost.
Two paragraphs.
Yeah. So the basement at the time of our investigation hadn't been remodeled, so it was all one ancient, dusty, creepy place. Jeremy and company never felt good when they go down there, and always stayed away as much as they could. But as it was used for storage for a few items, they had to trek down there occasionally.
Time out. You're horrible. Time in.
Well, gee, thank you, Everett. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Don't get all self-conscious.
I don't have a mouse. That's why I'm losing my spot. The upper floor of the building has been remodeled. Where the train station waiting area had been was now a common area used for town meetings. The once female and male restrooms during the train station days were gutted and turned into small offices and conference rooms. Down the hall opposite end were offices of Jeremy and a few others used. The doorway to the basement was halfway down the hallway. So we get set up, a camera set facing down the hallway toward the basement and Jeremy's office area. I set up a recorder in the once female bathroom, then locked the door and pocketed the key. The owner had let us use the building keys for the night. Once all was set up, the owner left to return around 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning. Everyone did an equipment check one last time, then the investigation began. I took my team to the basement, and Alex kept his upstairs. We were in constant contact with walkie-talkies, keeping each group up to date with any ongoings. Around 1 a.m., a train went by, and outside, every single person's equipment went nuts. All our flashlights dimmed, our recorders and such went a little loopy, for lack of a better word. Again, I will step back to add more pertinent information. A week before the investigation, Alex and I had done extensive research on the train station and happenings at the time. We had found out that between 1918 and 1922, 6 females had been killed very close to the station. A report had come out that a man was loitering at the train station. He'd befriended single female travelers, helping with their luggage and etc. He owned a small inn up the road where he would offer them lodging. He loathed females and ultimately was the murderer. The night of the investigation, I was the only female there. We had one more female, but her child was sick that night. Okay, so after our equipment went crazy, we ensured that it was working fine again. We continued on, and I had started to feel off or sick, like my stomach was not doing so well. So I kept going as I figured maybe it had been something I ate. My group did EVPs. I wonder what that means. And at a few points in our IR thermometer. Oh, okay, so they did EVPs, and at a few points, I guess EVP is a piece of equipment, I assume.
Right.
And our IR thermometer captures temps in the area. Excuse me, had dropped about 5 degrees. So we made sure to video record those areas. At one point, my neck began to feel tight, kind of like wearing a turtleneck when you hate them and they feel tight. I shrugged it off, though. Nothing much else happened the rest of the night, though while we still had evidence to go through the next day, film, EVP recordings, pictures, etc., it was close to dawn, so we chose to pack it up. Upstairs, we got our stuff together, and suddenly I doubled over, nearly screaming. It felt like I was being stabbed and my stomach was being ripped open. Alex helped me outside, and shortly after, the pain subsided. It was awful. I honestly thought I'd see blood when I raised my shirt. The owner came, and we gave him the keys, let him know we would go over all the evidence and meet back up with him. Alex came to my home that was about 5 blocks from the old train station. We debated checking evidence then, or he could go home grabbing some sleep first and then meet back up later. We decided to sleep. Before he left, I told him I was not feeling right again. It was more of a headache, and I probably just needed to sleep. Alex left, and I stayed on my PC for a while. I suddenly felt black rage come over me. What is that, just like blinding rage, I guess?
Guess so, yeah.
I felt black rage come over me. I was
Could
completely...
be racist. I hope not.
It was completely not like me, as I'm optimistic, friendly, and super rarely upset. But this was a black, malevolent rage to where I wanted to kill. I wanted to destroy. My God, Eric and Everett and listeners, it terrified me, but the feelings got worse and worse and worse. I managed to call Alex, and he three-wayed a call with a friend of ours who dealt with dark matters, cleansing and so on. She could feel the malevolence, and though I can't remember what she precisely said or did, the feeling soon passed on to nothing. She said perhaps I'd been attacked by something at the building and that it had followed me home. Great. So I was mentally and physically drained after that event, and I stumbled onto bed and was out cold. Alex had to wake me later. I was right as rain, so we went through the evidence. A few moments before our equipment went crazy, at 1 a.m.-ish, a camera down the hall had snapped a pic of a female looking toward the left where a window used to be during the train station days, wearing a below-the-knees dress with a 1920s hairstyle. She's cut off below the knees despite being a full floor-to-ceiling picture. She's kind of misty, but you can definitely see her eyes, hair, jaw, and
I'm
other
pretty
features.
sure this was posted on our group, where there was an email, or there was attachments on the email. Let me see if I can find it.
There were attachments on the email. I'm going to continue reading them.
Okay.
I'm going to drink them. Excuse me. Also, at the same time, my EVP recorder, which had been locked in the once female bathroom, had picked up female's voice. She said, "Watch out, he's here." I'll include the pic of the upper body. This was 2006, and the cameras weren't as good as they are now. I used then horrible skills to gradually enlarge her picture and place them next to each other. With a description of what one is looking at, back then I thought I did a great job. I didn't do a great job, haha, but at least you can see the pic. Notice the pic is clear as day, and it gets to where the apparition... Once it gets to where the apparition is, everything gets kind of doubled, yet she's fairly clear. Her legs are visible as well. Keep in mind, there are 0 windows down that hall. We were filled in when the building was remodeled. You may not be able to see her very well in the full pics, and that's why I originally decided to make a now laughably terrible cropped pic of the head. The workers still have odd occurrences happen then and now, but they decided to get a priest to go through the building, and hopefully that took care of the major issues. That's a creepy-ass story there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
What
pictures.
do the pictures look like? Yeah, how about the pictures?
We've got them. We'll post them on the group, or if you would like to
right.
post them first,
what do you
can.
see?
I'm honestly, I don't see anything. I see some. They're so fucking blurry. What she's got circled here, it's very hard to tell. So, without having to hey, okay, look, here's the shape. It's really hard to see it.
Yeah, if you want to post those in the group, Sarah and Music, you're more than welcome to do that.
Sarah, if you will.
Sarah, yeah, you're more than welcome to do that. If not, we can. So.
Where were you?
Brian Maiden. I'm done. That one.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Well, that was harrowing.
Yeah.
So there were 6 murders in that place. That was
all female.
See, now that
within short vicinity of it. She didn't say right in there. She said that like right around there.
Wow.
But the guy would always loiter at the train station, pick up the potential targets from the train station by calling them, I'll help you with your bags.
Yeah.
So his presence is probably what.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he had a place that up the road, which was like an inn that they could stay in lodging where he would kill them.
I wonder if it was an actually inn. He's like, yeah, I got a
Armand,
place.
did you listen to the fucking story?
Yeah, but I mean, it's so long, I kind of forgot the details.
Right.
Harry drugs.
H.H. Holmes kind of thing, yeah.
All right, the next story is from a longtime listener, Brian Maiden. I checked him out. His real name is Brian Maiden, kind of like Iron Maiden. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this is late. Had late work all week. If it isn't early enough for the show, I understand. No, I made it.
No, yeah, you're here, dude.
No, it's too late.
We got this, about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago? Let me first off say that I consider myself an open-minded skeptic. Same here.
Okay, that makes 3 of us.
Yep.
You too? Eric, is that what you would consider yourself?
I don't like labels, Armand.
That's fair, too.
How about asshole?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
There's fair statements all over the place.
How's ever a label?
Everybody's nailing it. With that being said, I'm unable to fully explain the following incident that I'm going to describe. I want to preface by saying that I have never had a hallucination before or since then. I also want to say that I was either wide awake when this happened and was not tired or sleepy either, so it wasn't a dream. I don't know if it was a ghost or whatever. I just chalk it up as a paranormal because I can't explain it. He says, one night when I was a young kid, around 9 to 10 years old, I was laying in the middle of the floor facing towards the door with my notebook and a pile of pencils drawing or writing something down. It wasn't uncommon to find me like this as a kid. It was early in the morning, like 2 to 3 a.m., and everyone was fast asleep. The bedroom that I was in, you had to pass in order to go to the bathroom. After several minutes in my own little world without looking up, I noticed that there was a shadow that appeared to walk by. I paid this motion no mind because I just assumed it was someone going to the bathroom. The next thing you know, I started to feel scared for no reason. About that time, I looked up and there was an older man, I assume in his 70s or 80s. I started to scream in the most bloody murder as he slowly started to walk towards me with his hand out towards me. At first, I thought it was an old man that had broken into the house that was going to take me away or something else. It wasn't until I noticed how messed up his face was that I got scared even more. The wounds on his face were deep open wounds that no living person could have.
Jeez.
I knew that this person had to be dead from the wounds alone, which scared me even more. I had seen ghost movies often as a kid, like anyone else. However, unlike any of the ghosts in those movies, this guy was completely solid, which I found out when I kept kicking at him as he was slowly scooting, or as I was slowly scooting back on my butt while trying to get up.
Talk about insult to injury. The guy's got wounds on his face bigger than any human should bear, and this Brian's over here kicking at him like, fucking get out of here.
I'm dead with wounds on my face, and you kick me.
Yeah, kick a man while he's down, eh?
I don't think that's what you're supposed to get out of this, but
Oh, go ahead.
moving on. Right as he leaned down and grabbed a hold of me, I went into a defensive mode and started to kick and punch with everything I had in me. Then, as he held me in a tight hugging motion, is when I realized that the old man disappeared and there was his mother standing my mother standing in this place. I still to this day cannot explain what happened. I can see both sides of parameters of explanations. I'm leaning more towards paranormal since it just can't be explained on my end. I was also shocked to learn years later when I looked in the house and learned it was originally an old funeral home a long time ago.
Woo, the funeral home bit there, that at the end.
Okay.
Jeez
I mean,
Louise, Papa Cheese.
Skeptic here, just like you, Brian. I would have to say you probably dreamt and you thought that guy was getting you, and you woke up, it was your mom waking you up. That's my thought. The dream you thought was the old man getting you.
And Brian, if you'd like to join Team Eric and tell Everett to go fuck himself with that comment, I'll welcome you over here all day, baby.
I'm just saying my opinion. I hope he doesn't say fuck me because of my opinion. Doesn't that seem like the most logical thing? Maybe he's having a nightmare. And
all right.
Well, that could explain a lot of because a lot of these obviously are twilight sleep kind of things.
Right, that little space in between
the
awake.
twilight zone.
We've got one from Ricky from the group. So after listening to the Reddit Paranormal pod, I'd throw in my 2 cents. First, it is my own experience with time dilation. This happens often. Also, or always when I'm driving. I'll be driving. You've told me this happens to you as well.
All the time.
Yeah. It'll be driving, and all of a sudden, I'll completely forget where I'm at and how I got there and how I'm going to a completely.
How he's going in a completely different direction.
Yeah. Secondly, my most creepy story. I used to go to bed really late, always the last one up. I was watching TV. All of a sudden, a big white ball of light came from the TV, tranced me, and I threw back to the bed hard. As I woke up several hours later with everything in my room turned off and a ringing in my ears, it was odd. It could be attributed to someone turning off my shit as I fell asleep, except my parents and family often fall asleep with TVs on, so no one would turn anything off. The second option is I switched it all off in my sleep, but that's the creepiest thing to happen. Wow. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, no shit. A big ball of light comes out of your TV.
Eric pandering hard.
Yeah.
No, the worst thing up there. Sorry to.
Yeah, we took it.
We
on
got
that
a
one.
dismissive of Rickley here, but there was a note in the chat that says, "Finally a Saturday show. Great to see the People's Champ Eric, the Goat Armand, which means greatest of all time."
Oh, is that what that means?
That's what that means.
Oh,
Goat,
I
yeah.
thought you
So
called
that's
me a
not bad.
goat.
No, greatest of all time.
Yeah, no. Didn't I call you a
I'm
goat?
so stupid.
That's-
I thought. What?
And what's the
Okay.
last line?
Well, thank you very much.
What was that last line?
Yeah, let's read the end, which is.
And it says
I think
Everett
it's-
can still lick my sack. Yeah. Lick my
Beautiful,
Chris
beautiful.
Benoit. I mean, look, it's Chris Benoit is what that is right there. Chris Benoit.
Oh, I get it. I didn't get that at first.
I didn't either. Son of a bitch.
Boy, he's bright too.
All right.
That's pretty witty.
Yeah, the dumb one that you lick your sack got your name.
How did it taste? With a little
sign
salty.
language. Yeah, probably. Anyway, this next one was a whole post string on the group, and I'm going to read through it here. So this was a reply to that Ricky's comment you just read, his post.
Oh.
This was a reply in that thread. It says, "Here's my quick long story. My mom is Hispanic." This is Tori Johnson. "And for a short period of time lived with her parents and uncles in one house. She got pregnant with me, and one of her uncles did not approve because she wasn't married. He died during the pregnancy. She said shortly after that, strange things started happening, like she would see him everywhere she went. In the rearview mirror of the car, sitting in the back seat. Then one night she had enough after she woke up in sleep paralysis with him standing over her. She went to the cemetery and told him in short she was happy and to leave her alone. She said she woke up that night with her nose inches from the ceiling, Mattress and all unable to move. And once she could muster up the strength to scream, she had, along with her mattress, fell back to the ground. She has not had anything else happen to her since then. This was 26 years ago.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. So shortly after I was born, my mom meets my stepdad, and they buy a house together. Flash forward 5 or 6 years, and this is the first paranormal memory I have. I would wake up in cold sweats, not able to move, and would have voices whisper to me, you know, the basic creepy stuff. Get out. You're not supposed to be here. Stuff like that. That's the basic stuff, huh? I've never had that. And get that feeling to be punched in the face. This would happen all the time, and my parents would just tell me it was a nightmare. Creepy things would happen in this house. Stepdad.
Yeah.
Creepy things would happen in this house all the time. The lights would slam, and the lights would flicker, and cold breezes would come out of nowhere. Until one night, I still remember in vivid detail. I'm sleeping in my room. My sister's room is across the hall. At the end of the hall, between our rooms, is the bathroom. My dad was working second shift and wouldn't get home till late. I wake up to my mom standing between our rooms, staring into my sister's room. She's sitting on the side of her bed and appears to be sleeping. Uh-oh. What happened to my dock? Shit. Sorry, folks.
Fucked it up.
Now my computer freaked out. Sleeping. Hang with me. And appears to be sleeping. I'm standing next to my mom. What?
Not the Danielle in the chat.
Oh, yeah. I'm standing next to my mom, gripping her leg, and she asks me what's going on, and she's not responding. This makes me even more scared. We were just standing there watching, and my sister gets up. Eyes still closed, head down. Stands there for maybe 10 seconds, but it feels like an eternity. Starts walking towards us, gets up to stop, and turns to the right, and walks into the bathroom. Stands and spins around 2 or 3 times and squats down, opens her eyes to the white of her eyes, staring back at what seemed to be me, but could have been looking in the general direction. Still both of us standing in shock. She closes her eyes and does everything in reverse order, lays back down. Well, fuck. Shortly after that, we move out of the house. I want to reread that because I don't know if you heard that whole part. So she wakes up. Her mom's in the
middle of the hallway staring
looking
at
the
sister.
Yeah.
Their sister gets up, eyes still closed, heads down, stands there for maybe 10 seconds. It feels like an eternity. Starts walking towards us, stops, turns to the right, and walks into the bathroom. Stands and spins around 2 or 3 times and squats down, opens her eyes to the white of her eyes, staring at what seemed to be me, but could have just been looking in my general direction.
All white?
Yeah.
Wow.
Still
like this.
Still both of us standing in shock. She closes her eyes and does
that.
She closes her eyes and does everything in reverse order, lays back down. That's pretty fucked up. Still, this goes on. Later on, my mom tells me that an old lady, Helen, died in the bathroom in that house. She had a heart attack, and her husband also died, and I don't remember his circumstance. My mom also told me right before we moved out that my dad and her were sleeping around 3 a.m., and the lamp they had next to their bed kept turning on. My mom would turn it off. My dad doesn't believe in ghosts at all, and was getting mad because it kept happening, and my mom was getting scared, so the last time he gets up and turns it off and looks at the window, sees people trying to break into the house. That's weird. Like a warning sign, maybe.
Oh. Real people were trying to break in.
Yeah, seemingly.
Oh.
The next house we live in for a while, I was around 15 or 16. This was out of the country, a newer house with only one previous owner, no deaths. Very nice house, a long driveway with an attached garage. While I had little things happen to me every once in a while, I had become accustomed to it. One of the stranger things that happened to me in between was playing Guitar Hero in the basement and looking over and seeing my sister's handmade doll floating over the folding table where they had just got done building it.
Fuck that.
I was staring at it a while, and it was attributed to looking at the TV screen for hours. But then when it finally fell and broke the dollhouse, I got blamed for it and realized it wasn't my eyes playing tricks on me. That was pretty creepy. Anyways, I had my girlfriend at the time over for dinner, probably tacos. My girlfriend was laying in the room watching TV, and I was in the kitchen talking to my mom, asking if she could stay later. She said no, lol.
Damn right.
Anyway.
I'll forbid that under my roof.
Sure you would.
Unless it's me.
Yeah, that's... Moving on. Anyways, I get back in there, and she's freaking out because the TV keeps shutting off on its own, and she swears she's seen someone standing behind her in the reflection of the TV. I think she's being crazy, but the button was probably stuck on the remote or something. I got to sleep that night. I had my iPod charging next to my bed, and one of those speaker docks they used to make for them that had the digital clock built into them. I used it for my alarm clock for school. I woke up in the middle of the night, panicked, and felt like someone was watching me. My alarm was flipped upside down with the time reading 1134. And my iPod was no longer attached to the Marilyn Manson, or it was no longer attached with Marilyn Manson screaming children playing. I believe that's what it's called. I picked everything up, evaluated what was going on, creeped out. I walked down the hall to my parents' room and was going to sleep on the floor. But my internal thoughts told me, don't be a pussy. So I walked out to go to the sunroom, and you had to walk through the kitchen to do so, where the door to the garage is also. The door is cracked open. I'm now shitting my pants.
Bummer.
Figuratively, I walk up to the door with the same don't be a pussy mindset. I reach my hand out to flip on the light, and it turns out to be red. I opened the door to look in from the hooks on the ceiling. I'm not sure what the hooks were there for, bikes I'm guessing. But we'd always joked that the hooks were to hang bodies from by the previous owners. We're hanging dead bodies, corroded like they've been dead for 6 days. I turned the light off and shut the door to go lay on the couch in the sunroom, freaked out. Just laying there hoping to fall asleep and not being able to shut my eyes with the only light in the room flashing standby light from the computer. So it's like the little blip, blip. After a while laying there, I start to calm down and I'm thinking sleep is a possibility. The light, off, on, off, on. I see one little flash from a spider crawling on the floor. And with each flash, more and more spiders fill the room. I run to the light switch and turn the light on and sleep with the light on for the rest of the night. Side note, there was really only one spider. Side note, there really was one spider. It was also around 3 in the morning, not 1134. We finally moved out of the house when my dad and sister and I were playing hide and seek in the house. My dad was looking for us, and I had decided to hide in the basement in the room we had just finished drywalling next to the laundry room on the other side of the basement living room. The stairs were in the middle of the basement. My dad had already found my sister, and they were looking for me together. My dad came down the stairs, turned right into the living room. They looked around. I'm assuming they have been hiding him for a while now, so I'm assuming he thought I was getting impatient. And was rattling the laundry door. It was one of those slide open folding doors. So he goes to the door and rips it open, and obviously I'm not there. He closes it and starts yelling for me to come out. I come out to the living room, and he's asking me if that's what I was doing that, or if I was doing that. I said no. I'm pretty sure he thought I was lying. He was about to get yelled at when the door started violently shaking, and my dad told us to go upstairs, thinking that someone had broken in and was now messing with us. He got a weapon, clears the house with no discovery of anyone. A couple more here on this chain. When we get to our next house, and I graduate high school, is when my mom tells me about all her stories from when she was a kid, and I don't remember this story in great detail, so bear with me. She explained that her and her brother, my uncle, go to the cemetery with a Ouija board, and they start doing it and get freaked out and stop and run home. They never closed it out or whatever you're supposed to do. I don't know, I've never messed with them. She said that night her brother, they shared a separate room, but their beds got stuck to the side. They shared a room, separate beds, got stuck to the side of the bed between the wall and the bed. This is a weird comment. It was nearly suffocated. My mom got to the chancia because my grandma thought it was her. This doesn't make sense. My mom got the chancia because my grandma thought it was her being mean to her brother. Huh. I don't know what that means.
I don't know
either.
My mom said years later in Galena, she was walking around with her brother, and they had someone come up to them claiming to be a psychic and had a bad energy that was following them around. It is my mom's belief that from the graveyard night until the night my uncle stopped bothering her, that she had a door attached to her front from the spirit world, or whatever you want to call it, and it was passed to us. And then it was passed to us. Well, that's creepy. While I don't have anything crazy happen anymore, still little things still occur. I'm in law enforcement, so anytime I come to leave my house, I make sure and habitually lock doors. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and sweep the house because my soon-to-be wife will hear something and get scared. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And my back door will be open and a light will be on, or my dryer will be running with no clothes in it. When we first, it creeps me out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When we first moved into this house, whenever the last Sinister came out, we rented it and watched it. I've never seen that movie. Have you? The Last Sinister?
I've not seen it, no.
Afterwards, we were just sitting on the couch relaxing when we heard an alarm go off in the bedroom. Strange, because we didn't have an alarm set up or even one plugged in because we both worked second shift at the time. But it was my alarm clock that was wrapped up at the top of my closet with no batteries in it going off at the time, 1134. That's creepy. Again, it goes off at the same time. And that's the end of my story. That's pretty creepy.
That
Sounds
is. That's
like
crazy.
He's got a whole series of these. What do you think?
Well,
he's got some?
they said the moms thought that there were since they played the Ouija board in the cemetery, that there was a door attached to her to the spirit world. Like, I guess she had a strong psychic link to the spirit world,
Right.
and that she had passed that along to her kids.
So okay, so that's
pretty creepy. So that's all we got now for the emails and for voice or for group messages. But we got some voice messages.
Yeah, we got some voicemails.
Well, these
here.
are always fun.
Yeah, the voicemails are good.
So
All right.
let me look at my list here and find out where the first one we're supposed to start with here.
Just play them all in order. Fuck it.
So someone said,
Yeah,
"I
in
am
order, huh?
a goat, not the goat." that hurts.
Don't try not to dwell on it, Armand.
That was me, Armand.
Well, if it's you, I don't
That
care.
was
But
me.
All right, I'm just going to play them in reverse order, like newest to oldest. So starting out, we got Jordan. Here we go.
What's up, Jordan?
How's it going, Surreal Talk?
Good.
First off, Team Everett.
Yes.
Nothing against Eric,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you both, but
Yeah, I
Team
gotcha.
Everett for the win.
Right.
All right, so my paranormal encounter story, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I was
sure.
a kid. I was like 11 fucking years old, something like that. But I went down to Key West. They have a ghost tour down there. We're walking around the whole city, guys telling us stories left and right and everything. Come to this overhang that looks like a movie theater. Guy sits our whole group there, says, I'm going to walk across the street, pay attention to your senses, does all that bullshit.
Right.
Different people smell different things, peppermint popcorn. Some people had their backs against the door. They felt shit. Obviously somebody on the door behind the door, but not everybody on the door felt stuff. So that was weird. I was one on the door that didn't feel anything. Other people did. I smelled peppermint. Other people smelled popcorn, root beer, shit like that. So he comes back and says, different people smell, see, hear, whatever, different things. Some people hear screams.
Sure.
Anyway, so the place we were at was a old burnt down movie theater. We thought so.
The fuck was that?
I know.
Sound like a monster behind Jordan?
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to rewind it a little.
People smell, see, hear, whatever, different things. Some people hear screams. Anyway, so the place we were at
Motorcycle.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think it was a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
God.
A very fast one.
Yeah. Go ahead,
was
sorry.
a old burnt down movie theater. We thought so. It was in fact a closed movie theater. Had been a church before it had burnt down.
Wow.
So dude doesn't like his wife. Back in the day, divorce is frowned upon. So he is going to kill his wife to separate. She says she's going to the church on a Wednesday night. He thinks she's by herself. He locks her in, boards up the bitch, and burns it down. Come to find out, it was a makeup Sunday school class. So there was 25 children that also got trapped inside and burnt down.
Oh, God.
Moments before we actually went over that whole thing in the front of the building, we were walking by a cemetery on the left. He didn't tell us what the cemetery was for or why it was there.
Probably bodies.
I would think to
Pictures
bury
like
people.
with a camera in my hand. I got a couple pictures with the red wavy ass line that he had never seen before. I didn't even bring this up to him until after the tour was over. I just asked him, what was this? And he was like, wow, I've actually never seen that before. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Could all be bullshit. I don't know. I haven't been back since. But kind of weird because after the fact, we're talking about it, he's like, that was the cemetery where they buried, the 25 children and the woman that were in the church that burned down. That looks kind of like fire. I don't know what it could be, but who knows? So that is my story with the paranormal. Kind of freaked me out as a kid, made me a believer. I've grown up and since realized that could all be a bunch of baloney, but who knows? I haven't been back, to verify any of that.
You ought to.
Right. Yeah, you should.
Speaking on the whole orbs thing, a bunch of other people got, the orbs, ball of energy stuff, pictures on the tour as well. So it was definitely a fun night, fun to walk around, waste the night. But there you go. Y'all take care.
Well, thanks for sharing, man. I appreciate. Where are you going? Hey, what? Well, thanks for sharing.
He had to go. There's a 3-minute limit on
He
these.
hung up on us.
He actually nailed the 3 minutes perfectly. So.
Did he? Oh, okay.
He's in chat today, too. So thanks for showing up and chatting.
Appreciate it, Jordan.
And thanks for sending in a story. That was pretty creepy.
Next one.
And that was Team Everett, right?
Yeah, it was Team
We're
Everett.
going to chalk that one up.
Yeah, we got an email right here while we were sitting here, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's 8 minutes ago. I have not ran through this. It could be a complete troll. I hope not. It's from Caroline Morales. She's in chat today.
Oh.
Hey, guys, I'm a new listener, and I finally caught up on all the episodes. Congratulations. That's a lot
Nice.
of bullshit to
Boy,
go through.
boy.
A fucking bunch of them.
Jeez, it's
I've
marathon listening.
I've had a couple paranormal experiences in my grandpa's house, which is where I grew up. The worst one was when I was home alone. The house is not in a good part of Los Angeles. It has metal screen doors as well as metal security bars. I went to take a shower in the master room and locked the metal door, the front door, the room door, and the bathroom door. I have always been a bit of a paranoid and make sure to lock all the doors. Better safe than sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in L.A.
Very secure.
Armand, you know about
Oh,
L.A.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Good idea.
I got in the shower, and about 10 minutes in, I heard 3 loud knocks on the bathroom door. Again, 3 loud knocks. It's always 3. Thinking it was my sister, I just ignored it. About 5 minutes later, it happened again. I said, I'm almost done. I have a bit of a short temper, so I was pissed at this point. I finished my shower, was combing my hair, and about 10 minutes later, I heard the knock again. Knock, knock, knock. I was dressed at this point, so I opened the door ready to tell someone off. No one was there, and that's when it clicked in my head that I was home alone. I checked the door and it was still locked. Checked the front door and the rest of the house and no one was home yet. There were no windows close to the bathroom. The TV wasn't on. The radio wasn't on. I heard 3 knocks 3 times and it scared the fuck out of me. I waited in the living room terrified and everyone got home about 30 minutes later. I hated that room and avoided it at all cost after. A little after I saw a movie and the running theme was evil comes in threes as a play on the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, like demons making fun of God. I don't live there anymore and haven't had any experience anything else, luckily. Keep up the good work, guys. Also, Team Everett.
Damn.
Carol.
Another one?
Nice story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, great story.
Yeah, that was
Bad
a good
ending,
story.
though. Team Everett.
What's wrong with Team Everett, you dick? There's nothing wrong. There's like 12 of us out there, and we're really
Nothing's
tight.
wrong, except it's not Team Armand.
Well, you're not even an official team anyway.
Right. I'm in the Federal League.
Yeah.
All right.
You are the miscellaneous third option.
Minor leagues.
You know we love you. All right, here comes the next one. This is comes from Anonymous. This is a voicemail. It's a full 3-minute one, so here we go.
Jesus.
Greetings from Northeast Texas, gentlemen.
Greetings.
Huge fan
Scary
of
place.
the podcast. Been
thank you.
listening to it since
man.
about October of last year.
Nice.
First off,
Cheers.
Team Eric, 100%.
That's right,
Team
baby.
Armand, but the climate change denial is just a little wonky for me. But I
You'll
just
have
wanted to talk to you guys, or tell you rather,
Sorry.
about my experiences and the most haunted house that I've ever been in. So when I was in high school, I played in a death metal band with some buddies,
Hell yeah.
and my parents had a rental property that was vacant. And they're like, well, we're tired of you making a noise in our garage, so here's a house to practice in. So anyway, we would stay the night at this house when we would practice, because we all lived with like 45 minutes difference of each other.
That
But
kinda
anyway,
sucks.
the kitchen was gutted out all the way down to the plywood underneath the linoleum. And we would stay in the den that was connected to the kitchen, all one open area. And I remember one of the first experiences was footsteps walking across the bare plywood. And me and my friends all heard it, obviously, at the same time, and just like kind of looked at each other in the dark, and then, brought up our phones real quick, and we could literally see dust coming up off the plywood.
That's
Still
pretty
hearing
cool.
the footsteps.
Wow.
And, that freaked us out for
like right out of
15
a movie.
scared
Nice
little
effect.
kids. But anyway, we continue staying there, and random small stuff like that would happen. So we moved to the back bedrooms, months later. And the first night we stayed in the bedroom, we have all the lights on. We're watching Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
and
fuck.
we
That's smart.
audibly and visually.
Tales from the Crypt was not that scary. It was more comedy, in my opinion. There was
The
some
movie?
the show, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You know,
the movie
the
was
fucking
too,
little
kind
Crypt
of.
Keeper,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, there was a couple movies.
Yeah, but
Bordello of Blood,
Right.
Demon Knight.
didn't one have Joan Collins in it?
That was the original Tales from the Crypt. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the good stuff
Yeah.
that was remade. Anyway,
No
the
way.
good stuff.
No.
All right, carrying on.
Notice the bedroom doorknob moving, and we're like, what the hell? So we're all kind of scared again, looking at each other. And then eventually me and my drummer get up and count down to 3 and bust through the door, expecting one of our friends, it came over and trying to scare us. Nobody's there. We go back into the bedroom, all
Sure.
sit back down, turn the show back on, and then the whole door violently starts shaking. Crazily. Scared the piss out of us.
Bet so.
We just turned the TV up as loud as it would go.
And ignored
eventually
it?
Fell asleep.
That'll make it
Fast
go away.
forward.
Hold on. That is not a good plan. For anybody listening, I do not say just turn up the TV and let the door just stop on its own. I mean, not that you can stop it, but don't just turn up the thing and ignore it.
Hey, do what you gotta do, man. Fuck.
Would you be like, the door's going fucking nuts, jiggling around violently? Are you just going to crank it to
Volume
11?
up.
Are you going to crank the TV to 11?
Well, what else are you
Yes,
going to do?
Definitely am gonna.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go over to the door.
You're
and
gonna go
fucking-
fight the ghost.
I
Whip
realize
its ass.
I realize there's nothing you can do to fight a ghost, if there is even such a thing. But just turning up the TV is not what I'm doing. I can't go the ignoring it route. Like, I'm just gonna. I don't hear it. I can't do that.
Fucking ain't there.
Out of sight, out of mind. Anyway, carrying on.
We all have our methods.
This is over a span of like 5 years. So fast forward, and we had a semi-dependable bass player. And so he would,
Right. Most bass players.
show up for practice
Yeah.
sometimes not. Well, anyway, one night he
I
was
think
supposed
they're
to
the
come
heart
to
of the fucking
practice,
band.
and He never showed up.
They're more reliable.
So we
wouldn't you
all
say?
passed out, went to sleep, and then our drummer woke up hearing.
Okay, that's where that one cuts off. Fuck.
That's
so
it?
it's the 3-minute limit. He
Oh,
must not have
right,
realized the 3
He
minutes.
woke up hearing. What were you hearing? Shit.
Nobody.
Leave us
Damn.
the
You
rest of
couldn't
that
hear anything. The
voicemail
TV was
sometime,
too
'cause that
loud.
was cool.
Well, Mr. Dude from Texas, call back and leave us the second half of that story sometime.
But even in a rock band, wouldn't you say that the bass player is like more of a?
It's very important.
I'm saying not as important, but you would think they're the ones that would probably be more reliable. Wouldn't you? I mean, like the lead singer, or the drummer.
I'll say
they're
this.
the crazy
I've
ones.
heard from other musicians. If you're a good bass player, you're never going to hurt for a job.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
they're
though,
very
but
important.
they're always the one that are more subdued, and they'd be the more professional. He implied
I
this
don't
guy
know.
was not real reliable.
I guess stereotype bass players are chill dudes. Is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
right.
I don't
yeah,
know,
like
man.
John Entwistle and.
We got any more? How many more we got?
Oh, like 12.
Let's
oh,
do
Jesus,
them.
Jesus
Bunch of 'em.
Christ.
Next one's from Donna. Here we go. Donna.
Hello, Donna.
Armand, don't you say a goddamn thing.
Hey guys, it's Donna from Illinois.
Hey.
I'm calling.
Again, stop
Yeah,
yourself.
Never
I'll
leave
stop
your
breathing.
location
All right.
on the voicemail. Armand's a bit of a
Okay.
crazy
All
man.
right. I'll try to compose myself.
All right.
Please do.
in for the paranormal show for our own experiences.
Well, you got
And
it.
It was pretty cool because the house that we have, a guy died in it, and it's my other friend's grandpa who passed away. So it was their
Oh,
house
wow.
that me and my boyfriend had bought. Well, about like 2 months ago, I had two of my friends over who were sisters, and the one girl, she was standing by my microwave, and she screams at her sister to stop pulling at her hair. And her sister is probably, I don't know, like 5-6 feet away from her, so she couldn't pull her hair.
Go Gadget Armstrong, she could.
And I looked at her.
You just got two things confused in there, but anyway. You're thinking Stretch Armstrong and Go-Go Gadget?
Go Gadget Arm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck that all up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Goddamn ride today.
Yeah, not the point,
Mixed metaphor.
Go ahead.
And I'm like, dude, Tori didn't pull your hair. I said, it was probably Laverne, the guy who passed away in our house. Well, and then she thought about it for a second, and she is a CNA,
Uh-huh.
and she actually takes care of Laverne's wife at the nursing home.
Wow.
So, and Laverne lets us know he's in the house. He plays with my dog when I'm in the shower, and like I can hear her running around like she's playing with someone. And I mean, he's not a bad person. And I swear, Eric,
What?
if you say this is bullshit, you can come to my house.
I didn't.
And experience this for yourself.
I'll come to your house, Donna.
But yeah,
God damn.
Sorry.
I hope you guys enjoy this story.
Team Eric,
And
right?
Hashtag Team Eric.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And Team Armand.
Oh,
Sorry,
Donna.
Eric. Or Everett.
What'd you say?
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for the call.
That was bullshit.
I
Not the story. That seemed kind of
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
as the rest
Wow.
of them.
would
But
never.
the whole Team Eric, Team Armand thing, that's
I would never call
bullshit.
bullshit on somebody's story. Why would people think I did? Or if the lady earlier said I would give a fuck you to her, I would never do that.
I think Luar and I think alike here. It's Donna single.
You guys are a couple of delinquent deviants. Anyway,
Yes.
moving on into voicemails. Thanks for the voicemail there, Donna. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's one from Amy Brutnell. She was in the chat last week. I don't think she is this week, though. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
Amy,
her.
I remember her.
Hello, this is Amy from the UK.
Hello.
Caught up with you guys on Wednesday with the
Yeah.
Paranormal Reddit first video.
For sure.
Team Armand all the way.
God damn it.
I'm moving to England.
All right. I think it's about time we add him officially to the poll on the website and see what kind of damage he can do. Anyway.
It wouldn't be more that.
Hello,
Stop
this
it.
is
It wouldn't
Amy
be more
from
that
Team
they would.
Armand all the way.
Brilliant
because,
woman.
You know, Eric and Everett, you just don't quite cut it.
This voicemail ended right there.
Well,
it ended,
fuck.
it
Wow.
Ended,
Good
it ended
story.
right
I
there.
think she said
Good
it all.
story.
All right. Now,
Yeah, that's kind of harrowing to you guys, isn't it? That is scary.
Moving on. Here.
Yeah, these guys are petrified,
What I
Amy.
think you guys should look into is Max Spires.
Max Spires.
His
Max
was very
Spires.
interesting. He was a conspiracy theorist who then moved over to Poland, originally from the UK. He then died under mysterious circumstances, with some interesting things coming up post death. Apparently, he vomited like 2 liters of black liquid just before he died.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this
There
guy.
was stuff to do with the police being under investigation. The BBC did a report into him, and some weird stuff happened with there.
I've heard this.
Something interesting I think you guys should have a look at. Catch you guys soon. Peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
So I just
Thank
looked
you
this
very
up.
much.
Yeah, the guy vomited. His wife said some shit about that, right, too?
Yeah, so look up, it's Max Spears, Spiers. There's, as soon as you Google that in, there's all kinds of stuff about him vomiting black liquid right before he dies.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, man. When did this happen?
He was a UFO expert, looks like about 2 years ago.
Yeah, last year or the year before. I can't remember. It was
Yeah,
a while
he
back,
died
though.
in July 16th, 2016, so I don't know, I'm going to look into that.
There's Shayna Black says, yes, research Max.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, Max
Sounds
Spears.
good.
Will do. All right, next one's from Phil Morris. He is a fine purveyor of tobacco products. I think
Yes.
that's who this is.
I send him money every day.
Hi guys, this is Phil from the UK.
Hey,
Firstly, fuck you, Eric.
Yeah.
And,
Thanks, Phil.
Oh, it actually,
Can we hear it?
shit, I accidentally restarted
Phil
it.
from the UK.
alright.
Firstly, fuck you, Eric. Firstly, fuck you, Eric. Firstly, fuck you, Eric.
It's
Okay.
skipping.
Firstly, fuck you, Eric.
It was skipping. I
You
don't
give
know.
that needle a push.
Yeah.
That's
And,
great.
Team Everett all the way.
Goddamn
Uh-huh.
right.
Yeah, really enjoy the podcast, guys. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Less
Thank
of
you,
the
thank you.
bullshit. More information.
All right, now he's losing me. Less of the bullshit. We were 95% bullshit. You want us to change the formula?
All right.
But 10 out of 10, guys.
Thanks,
Wow,
buddy.
what
Thanks,
do you
man.
want? Guys, man, that's a pretty good review.
Yeah, can't beat that. 10 out of 10, less bullshit.
Yeah.
Fair enough. This next one's from Marissa. I don't know that we've ever heard of Marissa. Nah, just kidding, Marissa. Here we go. Here's
She'd be like, fuck you guys.
she's Team Eric for sure now.
I know.
Always has been.
Hey, yeah, so this is Marissa. Last podcast, you guys, barely even touched on Doctor Who.
Sci-fi tech.
It's fucking
Yes.
crazy because you can turn an entire, you can do like a 2-hour episode on Doctor Who.
I knew this was coming. As
Stop
soon as
it
I
right
put,
there.
yeah.
I've never seen the show.
I have never seen it either.
but
honest
I
to
hear
God.
it's very good.
What do you think? You don't like it, right?
I've watched 2 episodes of one of the series of it, and I just couldn't get into it. It's dry British shit to me, and I just couldn't get into it. But it's got.
You're
Is it
call-
still
there's
running? I mean, it
UK
ran for like
people
40 years, didn't it?
Yeah, it's still running.
It
Yeah,
is.
right now they're
God,
and now they have
50-something years.
finally a female doctor. But anyway,
My God.
she carries on.
The only thing that you guys mentioned was the sonic screwdriver.
all we know about.
Come on. Oh my God. Guys, come on.
Sorry.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Do a Doctor Who show, please. For the love of God.
I don't have the time to watch
There's a
40
real
seasons.
fan.
of Doctor
Yeah,
Who.
I don't
Seasons of
know.
Doctor Who.
Can't we just do Space 1999?
No.
That was just like three seasons, I
Marissa,
think.
we could do one in 6 years after we've caught up with every episode of
Hey, did
Doctor
you guys
Who.
notice that Marissa's in a relationship now?
Is she good for her?
Yeah,
I didn't-
congratulations.
There we go. Anyway,
It's not me.
Watch Doctor Who, then do a show. Because it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
Except for now, because they got a chick as the doctor.
Oh,
and it's fucking stupid.
Oh,
I don't give a
wow.
shit who the fuck disagrees with me.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
fucking dumb.
Okay,
and that's the
okay.
truth.
All
Hashtag
right.
facts.
Okay. Team Eric or Team Everett, Marissa?
I love a
She's
strong
gone.
woman.
She's
boy.
done? Oh, shit. All right.
Man, oh man.
I love her. She's always
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she's something.
All right, the next one is from Satan, a.k.a. Lucifer, the Lord of Everything, fucking badass.
Okay. Nice name.
He sounds like a pussy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't give him shit. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's me, Satan.
Hey, Satan.
Hello, Satan.
I just wanted to leave a voicemail
Thanks, buddy.
with a
Glad you did.
paranormal encounter that I had one time in hell. All these souls were coming just through the fiery gates.
He says, I want to tell you a story about one time in hell. All these souls were coming through the fiery gates.
And then?
One after one after one.
One after one after one.
It's fucking great. Just how I like it.
What do you say?
I missed that part. Hold on, I'm running it back.
He didn't say.
Just how I like it.
He didn't say rape, did he?
But then all of a sudden, I saw a living person.
Saw a living person.
Right.
It fucking was weird and scary.
Get the fuck out of here.
What? And it just sort of disappeared.
Oh. Huh.
Really gave me the goosebumps, the chilly willies.
Chili.
It scared you, Satan?
It gave you the chilly willies and the goosebumps.
I love you guys.
Oh
If you
no.
ever want to come to hell, it's a pretty cool place for you.
Thanks, bud.
It's really hot.
I know I'm
It's
coming.
pretty suntan lotion.
If you cover the travel, I'm there, bud.
I'd rather go to Donna's.
Hold on, I want it back.
Boy.
Suntan lotion. SPF 3 million.
SPF 3 billion. That's pretty funny.
Nice. Yeah.
Satan, do you have a preferred
Nice touch.
team?
Asbestos.
Satan's gone? All right.
He doesn't care. We're both
Satan
coming down there
doesn't-
eventually to be Team Satan.
Yeah,
So.
Satan doesn't take
Right, no
teams.
shit. We'll turn Team Satan.
I'm not sure I want his vote.
All right, here we go. Next one's from Kevin Yarrow, great longtime listener, member of the group, and
up,
general
Kev?
all-around maniac.
Yes, sir.
Friendly Canadian, Kevin.
We like him.
Hey, fuckers.
What's up, fucker?
It's
Hey,
Kevin.
fucker.
The SUV hasn't gotten me yet.
All right, good.
He's always got SUVs outside of his house.
Yeah, it's for reference.
It's been ongoing for
Faceless
a long time.
people.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's
Surveillance.
Yeah, it's fucking rough, man.
They're trying, though.
Keep moving.
When I was 15 years old, I saw the ghost of my dead great uncle. We were living in his house after he died. I was getting ready for school. He was screaming at me, but there was no noise coming out of his mouth.
What?
Oh, it scared me to my fucking bone.
I
I
bet.
screamed for my mom. She came upstairs and I pointed and it was fucking gone. Still to this day, I know for a fact I saw the ghost of my dead great uncle Willie. All right, that was it. See you later, fuckers.
Wow.
Thanks, Kevin.
So he's
See you later,
screaming
fucker.
with no noise. No,
Yeah,
no,
that's like right
no,
out of a movie, too. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
That's kind of scary.
thanks,
No
man. That's
shit.
right.
Wow.
All right, we got a couple more here. The next one is from
Yeah,
James. and
Ocho
Sydney.
Man does that devil. You ever heard his devil voice?
Uh-uh.
Ask him
Yeah,
to do that sometime.
Does he
great.
have one?
It's pretty
not
good.
great. Everett said.
Well,
What do I know?
All right, who's next?
it's
All right,
better
we
than
got-
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, his sly's horrible. James and Sydney's got two-parter here.
Ooh.
I think that's a bong rip.
Fuck
Or
you,
a bullet.
Everett, you fucking cunt.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that was the first part.
Very effective.
Fuck you.
Someday I'm going to make a montage of all these
Yeah,
nice
that
fuck
is
you
great.
Everetts, man.
Use that one.
Who else in their life, and this has been one of the most fortunate things that's ever happened to me, have enough people to where you can get enough voicemails to make a montage of fuck yous. You know what I
It'd
mean?
be a few
That
minutes
makes you feel
long.
good.
It'd be multiple minutes long of fuck yous.
There's Wooter. He gave us a nice little 5-pound bump there. He's Team Satan.
Thanks,
nice to see you
Woot.
too. We haven't seen you in forever, buddy.
Yeah, where's he been?
He says long time no see. Thanks, Wooter. You the man, bro.
Anyway, here's the other half of James's fucking voicemail.
Okay. Maybe it's not fuck Everett.
Oh, there we
you
go.
are a main contributor to the show.
He's like, maybe I've been a little hasty.
But this is after the second bong rip. He's like, you know what? I'm sorry for
Yeah,
yelling.
he's mellowed out a
Sorry
little
for
bit.
yelling.
He's been sedated.
But Everett is definitely Morty, and Eric is definitely Rick.
Thank you.
How in the
bitch?
Jeez.
How does that even work? That you would be Rick and I'd be Morty?
Because Everett, you just don't fucking get it.
That doesn't answer my question. Yeah, I don't want to get it. I do not want to get it.
No.
Thanks,
Oh,
James, for the voicemail.
Geez, Eric. I'm over here being fucking Everett. Oh, jeez.
Hey, little boy, let me shove this fucking giant nut up your ass so you get special powers. That's you? Is that you? You, Rick?
What?
First episode with the mega seed fruits? That's what I'm talking about, where he made Morty shove the seed.
Yeah, but it wasn't for special powers. That was a byproduct. They were taking him back, and he needed to get through customs with
Sorry,
him.
Rick. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, moving on.
Get your shit together.
This is from an anonymous 16-seconder here.
Danielle.
All right, we'll get Danielle.
Danielle.
Oh,
I was
here's
just
it.
calling to say I really enjoy having the shows on during the week. I think that they're easier to listen to live.
Oh, cool.
Also want to say
we
Team
enjoy it too.
Armand and Team Eric.
Yeah. Get
fuck
fucked, idiot.
Everett. Thanks.
What?
Sorry.
Who was that?
Sorry, that was Danielle.
Oh, that was Danielle. Oh,
yeah,
thank you,
Danielle right
Danielle.
there in
Hold on,
chat.
she said something there at the end. I
Sounds like a
missed.
crazy. She sounds very sane to me.
Right.
Hold on.
Fuck Everett. Thanks.
Yeah, there it is.
Saner words were never spoken, Danielle.
So I don't know why I had to go
Yeah.
back and hear that.
What?
And
I'll
another.
hear it again.
It's funny that she said in the chat she left a voicemail sound like a crazy person. Then that was the next one in order that I hit.
Wow.
And I guess this is her, just left one a minute ago, so I'm going to play it now.
This is probably the crazy person.
All right, let's hear the crazy.
Probably, but you know
Danielle.
what? Fuck you, Danielle.
Hey.
God, Everett.
Sorry.
Yeah, watch it.
I've taken a lot of them today,
Nice
okay?
lady.
That was a Super Bowl, and yeah, it's been a few weeks.
All right.
Sorry, we didn't get around to him for a while. My bad. Jeez, fuck you too. Anyway.
Buttered ass.
Hey there, this is Danielle. I am in the chat right now. I thought.
Hold on, did she say hey, Eric? And just hey, Eric?
Of course, I'm the cool one.
Hi there, this is Danielle.
No, hi. She says hi there. Okay,
Oh.
good.
I am in the chat right now. I thought I'd call and leave you a quick voicemail.
Thank you.
I do not have a lot of paranormal experience.
Oh.
I do not know if I really believe in a whole bunch of paranormal stuff.
join the club.
I find it super interesting, more on the
Heard that.
conspiracy side of weird stuff. But anyways, I thought I'd call and share. A couple months ago, I was sending a picture to my sister of my daughter, and in the picture, it was a live picture. So she sends me a text back later that night saying that she was going through replaying it. And
You know what live pictures are? You don't have an iPhone.
No, what are they?
So on an iPhone, you could take a picture. It's called a live picture, and when you do it, kind of captures the first second and before and after it. And when you look at the picture, it's kind of like a quick little in motion picture. It's a live photo.
I've seen
Oh,
them.
that's interesting.
Yeah, they're okay. Kind of annoying when you don't mean to do it.
Yeah.
you could hear a whisper over her picture. So I put my headphones on and I turned it up real loud. And sure enough, there's a strange whisper. And I've even put it in the comment section of the Surreal Talk one time. And I don't know if you guys can
I
hear
tried
it,
to listen to it. I really did. Stop that right there. She did put that in there. I tried to listen. I heard something, but I couldn't fucking make out what it was. I remember exactly what she's talking about, though.
I probably skipped it because she's like, fuck Everett. Anyway.
we could hear, I could hear something. She heard something. I played it for my parents and they were really freaked out. Again, I'm not huge into that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I'm real self-conscious. So I don't want people being like, oh, that was so stupid. But it really did creep us out, especially since she's been having a really hard time with sleep terrors or night terrors. She wakes up constantly and she's always screaming.
April used to have those night terrors. They were horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And crying. And so my dad had mentioned that he thought that she was being haunted. Really creepy thing to tell me, but he did. And shortly after, we were traveling and she woke up, like she sat up and she starts screaming. She's in a night terror. Her eyes are closed though. And
Jesus.
she starts screaming, hey, help, help, somebody help me, help, and starts screaming help off the top of her lungs. And we're trying to wake her up. She's crying. We can't get her to stop crying. And it was just a strange, it was strange as it happened right after we've heard the recording. And my daughter also has a speech delay. So during her night terror, this is the first time we've ever heard her speak during her night terrors. Usually it's just crying. It didn't sound like her at all. Like I said, she has a speech delay and it was super clear. And it sounded like someone older talking because it was like, help me, please, somebody help me, get me out of here, help me, and then she just started screaming. So it was just weird. I thought I'd share. Hope you have a good time. Bye guys.
Thank you, Danielle. We appreciate your voicemail.
That sounds a lot like the things whenever April used to have hers, and I don't know if she wants me to talk about it, but I'm going into anyway.
Yeah,
she probably had no less than 20 night terrors that I'd be downstairs. We'd lived in a 2-story house. I'd be playing video games or watching TV in the living room or whatever, and she would scream out more or less bloody murder. And I'd run up the stairs, 3 stairs at a time to get up there as fast as I can because it sounds like she's being fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And I get up there, she'd generally be inconsolable, unresponsive to me. Wake up, everything's all right. For the longest time, she held fast to the fact that there was a hole in the wall, a big hole in the wall that had spiders pouring out of it. And this had happened many times. She was eventually convinced to the point that there was a presence that was there in the room, like a bad entity. She thought that when Annie was around, like our dog Annie that died, it kept it at bay. After she died, it was more like a free reign.
Really?
She believed enough that eventually to the point where she had to, she had heard that if you tell these things, you can take power over them. Go away. You're not welcome here. Like, she literally just went ahead and took the step. I don't know if it was mental that it helped. But after that, she told this presence that she felt was there in causing these night terrors to go away. She hasn't really had a problem with them anymore.
This is your daughter?
This is my wife.
Oh, your wife. Oh, April. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I mean, seriously, she would
How did she get rid of them?
Just by basically taking control, and she thought that maybe it was a spirit or something bothering her, like a demon or whatever. She didn't know what it was.
She had to get aggro with it.
She basically said, leave me alone, stop it, you're not welcome here, go away. And getting tough with it like that. And
wow.
I don't know if maybe it was just subconscious or whatever. Just taking that power finally was enough to shut off the night terrors in her brain.
Yeah.
Have you guys done a show on that? Because that's
on night terrors?
Pretty common. I
don't know that's worth a show, but yeah, it's pretty common and pretty freaky. What people happens to them.
Oh no, when the people that have had it, because I've had couple of patients relate that to me. Not that it has anything to do with their feet, but they would tell me about that, and I clip their nails, and they're all better.
So we got one more voicemail. I'm pretty sure we haven't played before. I'm going to go ahead and let it rip, though.
Let it rip.
It's from Ryan Sykes.
Oh, Ryan.
Good old Ryan,
yeah.
Eric does a better Alex Jones impression, I think.
Thank you,
for
Ryan
that,
Sykes.
I have to jump ship and join Team Eric. Sorry, Everett.
That's right.
If you're gonna leave
Pulling
me
them over
an
in
Alex
droves,
Jones,
baby.
and especially when my Alex Jones is definitely better than his.
Your Alex Jones not better. There's black helicopters circling the fucking Pentagon. They're outside right now.
All right, he's a little better. Maybe.
That's not
He's a little
bad.
better. All right, that's basically we've just exhausted everything we had for the show. I thought we was gonna last a lot longer than it did.
I mean,
but-
we've been on 2 hours, so
yeah, that's fair. It's a good show today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, some great
Some
listener
great
input.
experiences
Yeah.
and voicemails.
You know, I'm
and
starting.
was
I got to
great.
tell you, I'm starting to believe this stuff.
Don't
Really?
fuck
You know,
around with
the
me,
scientist.
Armand.
No, the scientist is. I mean,
Stuff's getting
there seems to be
crazy.
a pattern developing here.
Yeah, a lot of
that-
people experience the same
Yeah,
thing,
these
and
are
then when
similar
they report
things.
it,
which
it's
is why
like, wow.
I cannot
That-
immediately dismiss it. I'm not
See,
going to.
does that make it more believable to you, or more mass hysteria kind of thing, and less believable?
I mean, you
that-
could call mass hysteria. All I'm saying is a lot of people have the same experience. I can't dismiss it on just these, mass hysteria alone. I
Well,
can't.
even you had that experience with the black void, right?
So I mean, you can't just say people are crazy on.
Well,
this
I'd like
type
to
of
have
video.
one myself.
helicopters. Oh no, it's
Thanks,
black.
Alex. Thanks.
Yeah, you've had your accolades.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I would love to have some sort of paranormal experience
Right.
that can more or less affirm either an otherworldly life or a life after death. If I can get
And I'll
proven
go
life
one
after
up
death.
on that. I could go either way. I could have a paranormal or a religious. Let me get either one. Can I get just a either a fucking demon or a spirit or a
Yeah, don't call
ghost
for
or
that,
a fucking
dude.
angel or something? I don't care.
Let me say
Something.
this: What
I
if
want
you call a
something-
demon out and it doesn't fuck with you? It fucks with your family. And not that I believe in demons again, but what, are you gonna take that chance?
No, I'll do what you try to do and fight the demon. Remember?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
there
know if it'll
again-
work. You're a pussy.
There again, though, weren't we talking? Why do these quote demons come back and haunt people? Why don't they come and do good things like find the remote?
What's the need to haunt? You live in another realm. What do you get?
Yeah, why wouldn't you help
Because
people?
Is it your
right?
popcorn?
Like the
Wouldn't that
theory
make
is
sense?
You died and with unfinished business or felt the
But what
burden
if it's
on your
somebody
soul
who's-
and you can't
but a
pass on
demon-
until you relieve your burden.
But a demon was never a person.
No, not a demon. I'm talking about ghosts.
Well, let me ask you that: What good does it do a demon to come and fuck with the living? What do you get out of it?
That's the
Because
interesting thing.
you know, just
You're
like
just
in
like when you
Monsters
were a
Inc.,
kid?
it's like the more scares you get, they got a quota. They got to get the scares. They get, the demons do for Satan. He's in hell, going, man, you got
Ladies,
7
I've got-
screams this week. You better get 10 by the fucking end, or you're going to the
You
next
think they have a
level down to
quota?
hell. Yeah, oh yeah, might
You're
as
so
well.
full of shit.
Yeah, you're right.
That one,
That's
now that
true
one,
too.
I don't know about that
I'm
one.
full of shit, ladies and gentlemen. Please vote Team Eric.
Yeah, vote Team America. We're full of shit.
I'd see now. If I had read stories, we would have got a 10 out of 10. You guys cut me. You guys,
Yeah, well,
I'm quite a reader.
I fucking was a little retarded today. on
Next
the stories.
show, I'll read some poetry by John Keats.
Oh, there you go. Well, be sure to skip that one.
Yeah, be sure to miss that
2
show,
hours
guys.
of me reading poetry. How about that, guys?
What are we
do you think?
doing next week? You guys want to do another like a Halloweeny type topic? Or
I was
something?
going to ask you guys. I mean,
We'll try to
Halloween
do it
is
Friday.
just around the corner. Why don't we do an all night? Try to get because
Slow down, motherfucker. Ain't doing
Armand,
nothing
we
all
don't have
night.
$20
I don't do
million.
anything.
Calm down.
Well, the Ocho Man, we had around Halloween
Couple
time
years
we
ago,
had we had a medium, I think, and a psychic, and
Yeah,
can't we
yeah.
get some people?
You can do a live Ouija board, but that's pretty boring.
Crazy. No, I don't think that's visually stimulating or
I don't know.
orally.
We'll figure something out between
But
now and
a
then. but-
guest or something.
We don't
Get
have
Nick.
very good imaginations. If
Hey,
you're out
yes.
here, email us, message us, send a
Yeah.
group, and
Well, can't we do a
send
midnight
message
show
in the
or
group.
something?
A midnight show?
Send us
Yeah,
in
maybe.
Up in Smoke and tell us your idea of something we should do for Halloween. So
Yeah,
There
we
we go.
keep all our listeners up
we
too.
try to keep October
Scary.
spooky. If you've noticed, and you've been
Yeah.
a fan of Surreal Talk for a while, you notice that we pretty much do October with like
The least amount of effort. I mean, we try to keep it spooky.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. You guys never spend the night here, right? As I have done.
No,
This
never.
place gets a little spooky once in a while, and not that I've heard anything, but
Ocho Man's convinced the place is haunted, but he's
This
crazy.
place?
Yeah.
I haven't heard. I don't
What do you know?
I've spent a lot of nights here. I haven't heard anything. I wish I
Light
would.
Peach says Witching Hour show.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what I was going to say, too, is making me think of the
Do a
witching
show
hour.
at 3 in the morning. A
Oh,
live show at 3 in
He's
the morning.
actually saying do a show at the witching
Yeah,
hour.
3 in the
right?
morning.
Right. That's
I
what I'm
started
saying.
thinking of the
That's
witching hour
midnight,
podcast.
right?
Yeah. All right.
No.
Yeah, no, Witching Hour's 3. I thought.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
Google,
when
Google,
is
tell us
the
what it is.
witching
All right, we'll look that
hour?
up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Whose suggestion was that?
It's just a time associated with. It's the hour after midnight. Okay.
I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
Anyway, you guys got
Yeah,
anything else
stuff
for this
like
week?
that.
You guys got anything else this week? I know Eric's going to whisper here again in a second. But
We got Ocho Man, I guess.
He's talking about for the show today.
yeah, I'm talking about for the show. Stop that fucking
Oh,
whispering.
for today.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
I just
Read the erotic fanfic I'm writing about you guys.
You send it in, Chris Benoit, and I guarantee we'll get it on the air.
I don't want to
Okay.
read erotic fanfic or fic about me and you.
What's a fanfic?
Fan
Fan
fiction.
fiction.
Oh.
Somebody's writing erotic
So
fiction about the three of
stupid, huh?
us together. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
gay
I know.
incest.
Ugh.
Not
Yeah,
really
well,
my
these
thing.
are all
Only
good
for $2 million.
suggestions in the chat, guys, but please send them to us so that we don't forget them because.
Yeah, throw them on the group or email us at info@surrealtalkpodcast.com. You know how to get a hold of
Hey,
us.
have you heard about this new thing?
What new thing is that?
There's this new thing called Yo Radio.
Oh, you're fucking horrible.
Have you heard about that?
Don't do
Armand?
the read like this. This is so fake.
Have you guys heard? Everett, can you tell me a little bit about Yo Radio?
How do I listen?
As I'm
to,
interested.
Yeah.
I
I haven't.
I hope they fire you for your bullshit. I really do. Anyway, we've talked
what about it? How do I get in on this Yo Radio craze?
I hope they fire you both. Yo Radio is great. We'll talk about it another time when it hasn't been shit on by these two dickwads.
No, we're not shitting on it.
We're doing a
That was the
commercial.
segue.
You are making quite light of our employer.
Gee, I wish there were a radio station I could listen to.
I'm tattling.
When I'm bored, what do you listen to?
Well, so what I like to do is I like to tune into Yo Radio. And
It's got to cost a lot of money, though.
No, of course.
How much is it?
This is free.
Oh, my fucking
Free?
God.
Did you say free?
I said free, believe it or not, sir. They've got this one station on there. What is it? It's the dot.
You even have it installed on your phone? Let me see your phone.
I have it installed. Somebody installed it for me because I'm too
Let me see your phone.
My phone's dead.
You ain't got it. Don't listen to him. Check out yoradio.com. Go to yorad.io/app to pick up. Yeah, it's a terrible plug. Eric's fault.
Sorry.
Check out Yo
We're
Radio.
not
It's really
pros.
cool. They just got to redesigned it. Got a whole new look. I do have it on my phone, and I do listen to it. So.
It's like Pandora in the sense that you can literally just pick a station and kind of
similar to that. There's no
pick what
song
you
skipping
want.
like on Pandora. These are more like terrestrial stations. Like they're programmed up by your favorite influencers and stuff. So check it out. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I got nothing else for this show. I'll catch you guys next week. See you on the group.
Thanks
See you
everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Pretty scary stories.
Oh yeah, some of them are real good. Trolls, demons, vampires, and zombies. General Halloween shit. All you can
stuff like that.
That could be fun.
Yeah, we went 155 today.
Wow. Well, there were a lot of input from.
For sure, it's a good long.
Yeah,
show
thank you
today.
everybody who sent their stuff in today. I guess we should have
that
did
was
that
nice
before I
of 'em.
stopped hitting record. But thanks to anybody who sent your stuff in, voicemails, emails,
Yep.
whatever. Appreciate
Thank you.
Eric's an idiot. Sorry you
No,
guys
that's
have to deal
Jay.
with him. All right, what's today's date? The 20th?
I don't know, man. It says down here 10:20.
All right, export. Save,
Thanks, Graves.
Save audio.
See you
All
guys.
right.
Thank you guys all. Hey, Woo, thanks for the 5 spot, buddy. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks, sweetie. Thank you. You guys, catch you guys later.
Later, guys.
See you.